What up, Chad? How we doing? What up, Bish? What up, Trader? Polar Bear? Toasted? Jake? How y'all doing? What up, Raj? What up, Poison? Mudbutt? Just waiting for you to come and cover my losses with one of the great trades. We'll see what we can get. Market's slower. At the moment, I do have a trade on in an eval. And I am in the YM. Notifications work today? Hell yeah. But I am watching to possibly hop out of this. Because we just closed the hourly. Yeah, we didn't get the hourly close I want. So it's a little bit weaker than I'd like. Yeah, I'm going to close out of that for now. Go flat on that. Why does it translate so weird? I don't know, brother. There's got to be like a translation function that someone activated on stream because it randomly translates a bunch of stuff. What up, Miguel? What up, Micro Master? What up, Bugs? How you doing? So, what are you doing, brother? How you doing? Let's see how we're feeling today on a poll. Showing him some gold shorts right now. You get in near the open. Nice little lower high right here as well. I like it. Especially if the 4 hour can continue lower. Decent hourly wick, but that candle's still a little more bearish than anything. At the moment, main thing I'm kind of interested in now is seeing if we can go take out yesterday's lows. Because we do have a pretty bearish daily candle with that end of day little sell-off we had. Obviously set daily lower high there. Basically lower high here. And then the reason I took the YM was because we were more so neutral, stronger daily close. Looking for that to hold. It didn't so far. So we'll see. But on ES, we're stuck in this little range right here. Between 52 and 30. Outside of that, I'm definitely interested in trading. While within it, probably a little more patient. But this 5 minute is able to hold the trigger for 2 minutes. If the 15 doesn't break now, we have some time, but it could 15-minute 3-bar play down. If you look at it, could get an entry, say 30-ish, look for 15, stop probably like 37, so maybe like 2R, which wouldn't be terrible. We need to run 900 pointer on YM. I don't think we're moving that far in the market. Unless we get like aggressive selling, I don't see us moving that extreme. But if we do, I'm open to trading. YM's daily definitely has my interest with the relative strength, but the overall market's trending weaker. What up, Crypto? What up, Jomo? Manifested into existence. Entry target also yesterday's lows lines up with London low. Nice. So are you on ES? Are you the one that said you were in gold? Yeah, you're chilling in gold. So you're looking for yesterday's low on gold. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're gonna be looking for down around, what is that? 108 on gold is where you're targeting. So like 8 more points. Even oil's weak though, which is interesting. So we do have the lower highs into this end of day low pivot here. And if we end up breaking that, we likely test the New York low. Might move quick. Wait, oil dumping. Let me set up closely. You got to remember too, with all the conflicts going on, oil doesn't have to rally. Like, yeah, normally it has a negative correlation, but it doesn't have to have that. What you're going to want to kind of pay attention to here is if we're able to hold this overall like support area around like 72.85s from intraday, but also the intraday didn't move much on oil. With the lows to the highs, we had a range $1. That is absolutely nothing on oil. So it's kind of just stagnant at the moment, which I believe we probably have crude inventories later this week because we do every single week. Should come out what, Thursday? Resources, like the calendar. Crude inventories are Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, Polar Bear. I mean, we can easily get continuation. My main interest is just seeing how we react to yesterday's lows. I was watching for that possible short into yesterday's lows, but we moved pretty quick off that little 5-minute close. So I ended up not taking an entry right off the gate. I mean, we are below last week's lows across the board on ESNQ. Obviously, RTY, YM are still drastically stronger. I mean, those are the strongest names across the board. But the 4 hours did spike lower. Hourly is obviously lower now as well. Main pivot for me is if we get back above 430s, then we're in the range. Then I'd be like, all right, maybe longs are going to be the play up until like 52s. While under this, though, I would want to see 15 test on ES. So waiting now. Hell yeah, Eldred. Every time ES sets up, it gets rocked. Yeah, you got to remember it is in a downtrend right now on most time frames. The daily is pretty weak after the end of day sell-off, which is interesting because we're getting a lot of intraday buying pressure, but we're fading these moves rather quickly, which is more so range-bound price action, right? We don't have strong conviction either way yet. So we kind of just have to see what's like, when are we going to start to get that broader conviction? And to be honest, right here is pretty much the area. Between 7,400 and like 7,420, that is probably our largest support across the board. If we lose that, ES gets pretty damn ugly. It does. It wouldn't shock me to see it back down around like 350s, possibly these lows around 300. But we are coming right into the strongest support ES has on like a 4-hour time frame. And then obviously while we're sitting down here in this 4-hour range, there's nothing overly strong about it unless we get back above like 470s. 470s on ES can bring some strength in. So we have NQ approaching yesterday's low down here. Hit a nasty short from 30K on NQ. Hell yeah, brother. Highest profit ever on a trade, 9.2K on your funded TPT. Had a runner go from about 360 points. Still could have managed it better. That's fair, but I mean, you had a hell of a day. At that point, now you just assess it and be like, all right, what could I have done differently? And try to do that on the next one. Beautiful trade, though. You can never complain about 360 points, ever. So we got about 70% of the chat saying they're bearish right now, which makes sense. Market is pulling back. I want to give it a few candles to see how we're going to react. Obviously, if you took this short right here, nice little momentum. NQ, like I said, is approaching yesterday's low. I'd be shocked if we get that close to it and don't break it. But if we don't even have the selling pressure to get down there, it kind of draws some suspicion right out the gate. Yeah, polar bear. If I took a trade, like if I find one, I'm probably going to throw a wider stop on it and just see if we can get the trend overall. The unfortunate thing is Asia's, at least for the most part, the first hour and a, like 2.5 hours of it have been decent range lately. Made 3 bands on GC shorts past 2 more TBT evals. Hell yeah, Joe. Love to see it. That's an interesting hold. Now I want to see how this 15 closes in 4 minutes. Because if we get back over 30, we just bears just completely failed that breakout. So I'm likely going to give this at least 4 minutes. See how we react off this push lower. If we get back over 30, we just completely failed that break lower, which should have easily sold off. Easily. Could also be more so of a retest if it ends up going up towards 30, rejects, pushes back lower. But for me, I'm just being a little more cautious on it because we got bought up pretty quickly there. Yeah, polar bear, 7420 to 7400 is a massive support on ES. But I'm gonna be honest, if I take something, it might be the YM with like an 80-point stop. Because this structure is hands down stronger than everything else. Hands down. Down 200 right now, need 1500 day. Don't need it. I mean, you could take your time on it. Do you think internet speed is that critical to trading? Like I've seen people move to Montana just to have direct connection. I mean, Joe, it depends on what your internet speed is. If you're talking, you have like 40 upload or 40 download, then you might want to see if you can get some better internet. But anything over that, you should be fine. I mean, there's times the current internet that I'm on drops to like 50 because it's off cell phone. But as long as you're not in like the middle of nowhere where you have zero reception, you should be chilling. We have 2 minutes on this 15-minute candle. If we close pretty strong here, I might take the YM. I really don't want us to push too far, but we might. Yeah, Blink. I mean, it also depends where you are. Like near me, there's not a phenomenal internet service. That's why we have 2. Very strong 15. That's why I'm glad I waited. Oh, well, you said Manhattan. Why did I read that as Montana? Wait, where's your message? Yeah, I don't know why I read that as Montana. I don't know. All right, it is what it is. But no, I'm sure if you're trading like an X, I wouldn't say that's for internet connection. I feel like that'd be more to be closer to the exchange. All right, so we're getting a very strong 15 now. Now I lean more bullish. Back above 30, big hammer. Bears had every right and reason to send this to 15, minimum. And it didn't get there. So now it kind of gets my interest at least back up towards the open. But the name I'm more so looking at is the YM, to be honest. I'm going to take a stab with a little bit of a wider stop here. Could be an early entry. I'm fine with the risk on that. But I'm going to throw the stop at 90. And then to be fair, I want decently above the open. First area of interest would probably be these highs. But outside of that, I would want a lot farther. I'm willing to sit through a little bit of pullback if we get it. I sized in a little more based off where my risk was. So like up here. I'm going to front run 150. At least for first trim. It's not a big target, to be honest. I would love a lot more. I actually don't love that target, personally. I want to hold for a lot farther. But that's going to be like the first area of interest. I don't fully know if I'm going to trim there, but I'm going to watch around that area if we get up there. Yeah, so I'm in a long. I'm willing to take the risk based off just the sole fact that bears should have easily flushed that down to yesterday's lows. Especially on NQ, we got within a few points and it wasn't even able to remotely get there. It is just that alone tells me bulls are buying it right back up, especially ES over 7,400 and YM back above this like 540 or 52,045s. What up, Taylor? Yeah, I'm willing to put some risk on for it. I know it was hard to find your Ohio IP address. What do you mean? Where are you at? I live in Ohio. Retrace 50% back from yesterday's daily. Could be possible. Easily. Yeah. So, I mean, in the end, we are in a range, right? We're just trading larger support to larger resistance, which is exactly what I've been doing the past few days. We've gotten stopped some, but also like yesterday was more so a break-even day. In every right, breaking below this 4 hour on ES, breaking below this 4 hour on YM and RTY should have sent us, I would assume, at least to the recent lows. It still can. Obviously, we still have 42 minutes left in this hourly. But if this 15 keeps getting the continuation that it got off these lows, then that hourly kind of changes structure pretty fast. And like I said, there's a chance I got in this trade early. I'm willing to take the risk on it. More so because if this does move, and as I'm looking at the YM's daily, I'm going to go to this chart so there's not writing on it. And I'll change that writing in a second. If I'm looking at this daily structure, that's a lot stronger compared to the rest of the indices, right? If you go towards NQ, drastically different candle. Same thing with ES, drastically different candle. So structurally, this is stronger. If the market's going to hold and potentially get that move, this is the name I kind of want to take, especially because even if we want to test yesterday's highs, that puts us up at 280. And that's kind of why I'm more so hesitant on taking earlier trims if we do get that move, because I would want to see that 280 area test. Oil also continues to be weaker, which is interesting. Gold's a little weak as well right now. Struggling a little bit. Oh, I just realized my thing blocks it, so I'll do this. There we go. And then chat today, if we can get to 150 likes on the stream, 150 thumbs up, I'll be doing a Alpha Futures 50K giveaway to you guys. So you decide when that happens, right? If we get there, I'll do it. If not, might not do it today. We'll see. Might save it for tomorrow. So is this the opportunity yesterday? Wait. So I saw the opportunity yesterday and passed the lucid eval. Market conditions made that easy. Hell yeah, brother. The eval you've been struggling with because of consistency from when you got hammered and made too much. Chat, what are you guys looking to trade right now? I know some of you guys are still holding positions. Some are probably short, which respect. Some are probably long as well. Where's the target on YM 52 120? Around 150 is just an area that I'm watching for. But if we react well around that and maybe retest the open, I'd probably start trailing stop as we rally versus just looking to trim, because I feel like if we get above the open, we can go decently higher than 150. Oh, Alan, that has got to be one of the most annoying things in the world. When you have a down day and then the next day you do well and it just destroys your consistency. I've been there. Obviously, you guys have seen it. And dude, it's just, it takes forever. What up, Logan? How you doing, brother? Chat, how'd you guys do today? During the New York session. I saw the other streams pretty much killed it. Pretty bad day, but well, I mean, it happens. As long as you're like, you still have either the account or other accounts that you can trade, you're okay. You can learn from it. It happens, brother. You can just look back on it. What up, Johnson? Blew a 25K and down 1K on the 50K. Yeah, so just a bad day overall. That sucks. It does. I'm gonna assume the 25K was down a little bit and you ended up just risking the rest of the account. Passed an eval, still halfway through my second. Hell yeah, Johnson. Did shit. Like, you didn't do anything or you just didn't do well. I feel like there's a decent amount of people that probably struggled a little bit today just because it was more so a violent range where we didn't get continuation after getting a decent setup other than maybe like this little 5-minute failure to go lower if you were looking to trade the open. But intraday, the only thing where we trend was this short right here, back below 52s. What about my psychology? It depends what you're struggling with around psychology. Because there's a lot of different factors. Psychology is the big basket as a whole. And you just have to figure out the best way to work on your psychology is to understand yourself better. Like, what are you currently struggling with? Are you struggling with fear of missing money because you're focusing on the P&L aspect? Fear of like just being a degenerate? You have to figure out what exactly you're doing that's impacting your psychology and then work towards mitigating it. Because you're not just going to fully correct it overnight. It takes time no matter what. And that's why I always say you want to work on mitigating your flaws in trading. Because they're not just going to disappear. And you're still going to make mistakes. Everyone still makes mistakes, at least most of the traders that I know, right? And whether they show it or not, but most people make mistakes. And it's just mitigating those mistakes from showing up more often. What up, Dougie? Slightly toasted. I do not blame you one fucking bit. Because if you look at the higher time frames, let's go to the 4 hour. Son of a bitch. You're hesitant on, you just don't fully trust the market right now. Look what we're in. This is the shit we're in on ES and NQ. That doesn't look fun. We're not trending right now. We're kind of just in that consolidation trying to figure it out. That's also why I lean more towards YM. Because right now, if it sets what I want it to set, we are setting higher lows on the higher time frames, which is why I'm willing to take the risk. We have potential on the YM for an hourly, 4 hour daily higher low, which is why I'm looking towards it. Oh my God, I deleted the sign. No. There we go. Yeah, chat, I am in a YM long at the moment. Off the sweep of the lows. No, the fuck I'm not, bitch. No, the hell I'm not. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm just copying your trade here, TBH. See, Logan, I mean, that's the thing. Even though, like Jake says, even though we say don't blindly copy us, we know people do. It's just a part of it. But if you like to trade, take it. You know, just build a thesis around it. Up slightly on Tradify is not bad. Every trader got trust issues, brother. That's fair. It is fair. No, Coda. No. Zero financial advice. Best financial advice I'll give is if I ever trade someone's money, I guarantee I will lose every single penny of it. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. Logan, I need you to read the description in the caption for the video. Appreciate it. Never traded YM, but def piqued my interest in it, especially when you said it's a step down from ES/MES. Yeah, toasted. Like if I look at this chart, it looks like this is a wider stop loss at the moment. You can get 35, 40 point stops on the YM. Yes, those are tighter, but you can also use like a 100 point stop. It all depends on your sizing too. Like this trade right now, if it goes down to stop, would be $400 on 15 micros. So that's pretty damn low risk, in my opinion, where if you take ES right around the same spot, so that'd be like here, and run a stop below this, that would be $700, about $825 on 15 micros with that same stop structurally. It usually moves more fluid. I wouldn't say more fluid, but structurally it moves well. What's your exact TP? Logan, I don't have an exact TP yet. Full transparency, what Dream World, what I want to see is this. I want to see us get up to yesterday's highs. So that's the main area I'm looking towards. That's why I'm okay taking the risk. This trade, if it goes to where I want it to, is roughly 4.4 R. Not too shabby. I put this here around like 50, wherever it was, because I want to pay attention to the highs of this range and how we react to it. But if we get above the open, I would anticipate us to break this 50 area. And in that case, I'm looking up towards 280s. I'm going to target 130. Beautiful. You do you. How you doing? I'm doing great, Sach. How you doing? You want to see the yeet of a lifetime? Well, I don't have any accounts that I want to yeet right now. You know, if we get a buffer on like a Lucid or a Tradify Select, we could size up a little bit. But at the moment, we can't use too much size. I'm at dead zero with my eval because I don't want to buy another one, but it's day 4 and I kind of want to full port it now. Cole, why do you want to full port an eval? Because it's day 4. You don't have to pass it in 5 fucking days. You can pass it in as long as you want to. I got a call from Sal Goodman. Oh shit. Oh no. Yeah, we're done for then. Need to get the M4 down payment. Yeah, we got to get one for a rake trade so we can destroy it live on stream like Alex G does. Logan, you saying 130 is a short target? I mean, if that's a trade plan you want to take, run it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm usually more, I wouldn't say more aggressive, but I usually look for larger moves. Obviously, I'll be trailing stop if we get above the open. I have no problems with that at all. But for now, I'm just going to let it ride. But I do have a larger expectation if we do get continuation. Yeah, cool. I mean, you can still ride it at least a little bit. Give yourself another 5 extra days. What up, Acer? That would blow you guys up. Yeah, Polar Bear. The problem is, if we did that, the giveaway fund would be liquidated for quite some time. Quite some time. This is my first YM trade. Kind of like how price isn't as volatile. It's more calm. It is. Especially if you size correctly in the YM, then you should be perfectly fine. You're in the same trade. Did you get in before you got on stream? If so, hell yeah. It's funny. I'm slowly watching the pole go to bullish from bearish. Down here, it was 71 or 72% bearish. Now all of a sudden it's flipping up to sub 60. Yeah, no, that is a good point, Polar Bear. If you think the YM is calm, same thing with the RTY. Don't be in a position around New York Open unless you have a hard stop. But at the same time, the YM will rip 600 points in 5 minutes at the New York Open without the slightest bit of hesitation. Let's see if it's done it lately because I haven't been paying too much attention. Yeah, like this. This is what the YM loves to do with the Open. And it's only 200, so it's not as crazy. But when it's more volatile, it gets, like, it's almost every single day. You see sharp rallies right at the Open. Whether they hold or sell off is up to the YM, but what are the other names doing? Kind of just slowly sitting in this range. On day 365, can we trade soybeans to celebrate the project? Cole, the thing is, most of those assets aren't tradable during this time frame, so I don't think we can. Might be able to convince Jake to do it, but I doubt Jake's going to trade soybeans. But most of the time, they don't move during this time. That'd be funny, though. I'd be in if it actually had like a solid move. Problem is, we would need volume, which would mean it would need to be like a multi-day trade. Yeah, Polar Bear, that's why I don't trade RTY through the Open. Is I was in RTY, had to be like a year and a half ago at the Open. I was like 10 points in profit. It spiked down 35 points in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then shot right back up to where I wanted it to go. After that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good at the Open. I'll just trade after. It is cool. Now, it's going to fully depend if we're able to continue to hold here. I mean, we're getting a little bit more selling pressure right off Not even off much. I mean, I guess this New York low, but for me, the bigger support's at 30, and we just need to continue to hold that. I still have no problem sitting in this trade, just simply because of the overall structure that we ended up holding and setting on the 15. No, Logan, I had a hard stop at, I want to say it was like 5 or 7 points on RTY, and it filled me for like 15. So that's why I don't do it. Because RTY is not as liquid as well, so there's a chance you get slippage on news or not even news candles, but momentum candles like that. So yeah, it like over doubled my stop. So at that point, I don't trade those two through the New York Open anymore, unless I'm already decently in profit. Then I have no problem doing it. Bigger rejection here. What's the 15 look like? Yeah, I got a little bit of a failure on that 15 that we wanted to see break. Now it's basically, are we going to find support before the stop loss, or is the stop loss going to be hit and tested? We're still sitting at the prior hourly low, which I'm cool with. If we can hold this area that we're at around 515s, structure can hold, but obviously a little bit of drawdown, so I'm not too worried about it. Hell yeah, Cole. Beautiful. Yeah, what we want to pay attention to is this little wick right here. If we can maintain and hold that, we'll be fine. But if not, then we likely go down and hit the stop. We also have ES around that 74.30 support, which is a big area we wanted to watch. If we do break back below that on ES, I lose a lot of interest just because of the price action we've already gotten this session. You hate drawdown? It's a part of trading. I have no problem sitting in drawdown. I mean, especially on the YM. We've had YM trades literally come probably 5 points from stop loss and then rip 400, 500 points. Gator, it seems like a lot of people are waiting for Pro Plus accounts. Because I know Jake's waiting for his as well. I don't know if TPT's just struggling right now with accounts or like activating them all, but it seems like multiple people are waiting for those accounts to get activated. I don't know the process, but it just seems odd. Yes, testing New York Open. Yeah, my key support is this 74.30s. Same thing with NQ. We're sitting around like the end of day-ish low. So we're at a support. I have no problem. Like I said, probably got in YM early. I'm willing to hold through drawdown is what it is. Do you consider Asia up like the New York Open as Jake does no trades above or below? Do you consider Asia? I'm going to guess that it's OP instead of up. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, Logan, probably. Yeah, there's no issues using the stop loss on any set or the open on any session as your broader pivot. You prefer live account or sim funded? Both. I think both have good opportunities. Live account, obviously, because you can take your profits when you want to take them. You don't have any restrictions whatsoever. If you have the funds, I think live accounts are great. With sim funded, it's more so the opportunity to have low risk, high potential reward. Like if you get one payout on an account, you can look for that momentum on your trading to get you 2K, 4K, whatever the payout caps are. Hell yeah, SO. Love to see it. Yeah, no, MicroMaster, I prefer both. Same thing with like options and futures. I think there's opportunity for both drastically. Not gonna lie, I blew my qualified account. What's the qualified account? Just the funded account? Went straight on tilt. Cool, it sucks. It does. But a lot of times you just have to put into perspective that account risk, and a good way for me to look at it is whatever you paid for the account. Yes, it takes time as well, which sucks to lose. but it's progress, right? You're working towards just being better. You're going to have bad days, bad stints in trading, and it's just a part of it. Gold dying. Gold is dying. Interesting. Everything's dying. Oil's getting smoked. Indices pulled back there. Yeah, everything's pulling back pretty aggressively. You caught the short on gold? Hell yeah. Esso, did you catch the move that you wanted? Because if so, oh well. There will be more opportunity on gold too. Gold's a violent one. So there's always opportunity on gold. I'm fully anticipating that stop to be hit just based off of what price action is doing. If it holds, cool. But I'm anticipating it to get swept. Cole, Cole, that's fair. That is fair. Especially if you got into that before trading. If you can stay level-headed in a casino, you can easily stay level-headed in the market. What up, Adam? How you doing, brother? I was up 1,000 on my 2 evals. Forgot to delete my stop orders. Had on the screen, lost it all. Made it back on this session. I'm going to chill out for now. Rel, that is... Yeah. No, I mean, I've been there. There's been times where, especially in the past, every time I'm on Tradeovate, I smash the exit and market close button the second I'm out of a trade. Because I've had it where I fully close my browser and I'm doing something else near my computer. And then I'll just hear order filled while I'm not trading. The broker's not even up and it fills my order. And ever since then, I've just no. Because I've fallen asleep, lost money overnight because I left a stop loss or a take profit on a trade. That's why I do a lot of bracket orders too. Yeah, so I remember. What account are you giving away? An Alpha Futures, what is it, 0 account? I want to make sure I'm correct. Wait, let me click on this screen because if that spreadsheet shows up on the wrong monitor, I am leaking codes and I am in trouble. Holy shit, Jake re-upped. Alpha 0 50K is going to be the giveaway today. Cole, that's likely not Alpha. Because they don't control the broker. Unless it's like an Alpha Futures broker, then yeah, I'd have some questions about it. If it is, then yeah, there's obviously questions make sense. But if it's like Tradeovate or something, that wouldn't be Alpha Futures. Is there like 1,000 accounts in there? Logan, there's a shitload on that spreadsheet. A shitload. Plus 1,300 on the gold short, pass an eval. Hell yeah, naturally. Have you ever accidentally done it and made like 10K? No, Logan. I think once I did it and made like 500. Because it's usually like a partial or something like that. Macro, when we get to 150 likes on the stream, I'll start running the giveaway. So we got a little bit to go. What up, IAG? How you doing, brother? But no, for me, when my orders get filled, I usually always fucking lose. When they're like accidentally filled because I leave them on the chart. Alpha decreased their payout cap. Wasn't it like 4K though? I don't know what they decreased it to. I don't pay a whole lot to Alpha. New to the stream, do you trade the same strategy as Jake? Yes, macro baby. Macro baby? Yeah, yes, macro baby. The main thing for me though is I'm usually looking, similar to Jake, there's going to be times where I look for shorter moves, maybe like 1.5, 2R. But a majority of the time, if I'm looking for a longer hold, I'm going to be looking for larger moves. Like this YM trade, even though I have this set at 150, I'm going to pay attention to see if I want to execute there. Dream target for me on this is going to be up around 280s. So this trade, if it works, is going to be around like 4 point something R on this one. And along the way, I also have no problem trimming. So that's just one main difference between me and Jake, is I like to trim positions often. This is why I'm correlated with NQ. It's an index. It's moving the exact same. Logan, that's how you know when the market's trending together is what you want to see. So most of the time, it will trend together. But at the same time, though, remember what we talked about with the divergence between them on the daily charts? If you look at NQ's candle here in the daily structure, this is drastically weaker, right? If this is a 5-minute candle, you want nothing to do with trying to long that. Whereas YM is trying to set a higher low, failed to go lower on the daily, closed up near the highs of the daily candle. That is why today I'm interested in this one. Because if this really wants to go to the prior highs, we're looking towards 750s. And I'm cool with that. Y'all know me, when I trade YM, I'm usually not looking for 100 or 200 points. It's usually a decent move I'm paying attention to. Oh, thank God I re-entered. Great call in the sport there. Yeah. I mean, even right there, if you took ES or NQ, there's clear as day support that we were paying attention to. And like we wanted to see, is NQ going to hold this end of day support? Is ES going to hold this massive 74.30 support? We could have easily pulled back. When I entered this YM, I said, I could be early and I have no problem with it. And it just is what it is. Sometimes I'm willing to take that risk with a little bit wider of a stop. If we do get above the open on this, I will be looking to move stop a little bit closer. I'm probably not going to be too extreme with it though. Thanks for that's all you. I entered that blind. Logan, the one thing I will say is you push the buttons, you get the credit. Main reason as well, because if that was a loss, then you could say that's all you. I didn't do shit. No, I just took my trades. So I just want this. I want it to be the same, wins and losses. If I don't want credit for your losses, I don't want credit for your wins. On TradingVictor, TradingView, Alpha account is one actually saved me. When a good stop earlier, stop out way too early. Yeah, Cole, that's interesting. I'd wonder what that is, mainly just because like Alpha doesn't control Tradevate, obviously. Great, now that I'm here learning, appreciate you, IAG. Yeah, macro baby. Because I'm going through chat, I just reread your comment. Me and Jake are probably two traders on stream that trade the most similar, I'd say. I am moving. Crazy comment. Appreciate you, Trade Wop. I'm going to be honest though, chat. Like, the YM, for those of you that have been here for a while, I think we've lost one YM trade out of 8 weeks of streaming, and we've probably accumulated 2,500 plus points on YM. Yeah, Michael, I'm in YM longs. Position's right below my picture. I can't stand the YM. Why? I mean, it's a slow mover usually. It is. And also, it's one of the lowest P&L returns per percentage, but I don't really care about that. I just care about the chart. Jake did great today. Jake did phenomenal. Jake's been on a heater. Obviously, you have the occasional losing day, but been on a heater. What up, Theo? How you doing, brother? Makes sense, but secretly under the table. Appreciate you, Logan. Yeah, trade wop. I mean, I love charting the YM, but you guys know the way I trade it is I fully focus on the 4 hour and daily. When it looks prime, I rotate to the YM. That just is what it is. I made $5 at least. Hell yeah. Vish, that's funny though, because most people don't trade the boomer index. Like a lot of people sleep on the YM, but when the YM moves, it'll easily go, just because of what the name is, it'll go 1,500 points in a day without a problem. At this point though, I'm probably going to move stop break even. Yeah, because structurally it shouldn't get back below. Because my stop here was under 60 points. This would be another 60 right here. So I'll move stop to 45. Do we have news of something? I don't know. I don't know. But it also shows, even if we had news, the potential of this move and rally was clear. Without like just looking at price structure. I mean, we talked about the supports, exactly what we'd kind of be looking for and what could happen if they held. So I feel like it was pretty clear. But no, there was probably something that gave it a little momentum. Now we're at the key factor though. Can we break over the open? Some consolidation doesn't shock me. But something we wanted as well, if you remember, obviously this 15 didn't give us the little yammer candle we got now. This one did. But this is what we wanted, because if we look at the hourly chart, if you remember what it looks like, we now have a really big, strong hourly close. Here's the main reason I'm interested in this. Structurally, you look at the chart, higher low setting up. If it breaks, if this is a 5-minute chart, where would you look? Recent highs. That puts us at 280s, right? If that breaks, we would be getting a 4-hour failure to go lower, breaking above that, triggering on the 4-hour, right? Which should send us to 280. Go to the daily chart, we get to 280, we're setting an hourly higher low and buy setup. If you know the system, you know everything exactly of what I'm talking about and how everything lines up perfectly to be willing to put on the risk. Yes, breaking news, Trump made a peace deal. So that's the 95th one of this war that's going on. What made you take this? Fair to go lower? Luckily, boss, I just went over all of that. But part of the reason I initially got in and I was willing to risk it getting in early, per se, if we go to these 15-minute charts, and I'm leaving this here because I don't want to retype it for the 5th time, so we just got to look past it. As we're looking at this, when we got this breakdown here, which is right around where I enter on YM, 15 and hourly consolidation at the lows of the range, broke the lows of the support into like a larger 4-hour daily support on ES, which we talked about as well, right around 420s. If you're looking at this chart and we break this low, we should easily go sweep yesterday's lows on ES and NQ. Bears weren't even able to get us all the way there on NQ when we got within a few points. Same on ES, obviously. YM's nowhere near yesterday's low, so I didn't use yesterday's low as a reference point. Once that happens, when what should happen doesn't, you start to anticipate the opposite. So when we have this strong of buying pressure sitting below us, I know we have a decent support right below. Obviously, we didn't have a fully confirmed support yet. After this little rally, we came back, retested it. So there's potential of another entry here. But for me, it was seeing the buying pressure come in when the chart had every single reason to go take out the lows, and it didn't. You copy trade? I do, not always though. Can't go to yet for my long trade. No setup for me here yet. Looking for a short oil. Got a setup, but no entry there. MD, that's the most beautiful thing though, is you're also showing clear as day patience to where you know, yeah, the market's moving. This might not be someone's trade. So you'll find it, especially if there's another entry somewhere. You'll find something. Of course, boss. I'm always happy to go through it. What did I have up down here that I needed to look at? Oh, I was looking at charts. Yeah, there's still a chance this pulls back. For now, we are in nice profits. I don't really have interest to trim because of the upside potential on it. Even if I draw, and here's a good thing about risk to reward. If I'm looking at this, my risk is now right around entry price. I talked about my broader target being up here around 280s. At this point in the trade, the reason I'm willing to hold without trimming is there's still a potential of 3.6R based off of where I currently move my stop to. Where are your socials? Brian, any of the people that stream, if you type exclamation point, their name, like I just did below, it'll pop a link in the chat to their social media. Hell yeah, MD. You should just hop out. Besh, trade your trade. This could easily pull back and hit me out of break even. And I'd still be down the $65 I was from before stream today. Just hold the trade until tomorrow and you'll be a billionaire trust. I'm down. What I would likely do though, especially on the YM, because and that's the thing with this trade, if the YM is going to do what it's going to do, right? If it does Dream World move, and we talked about Dream World move, but I didn't show it yet. If it does Dream World move and we go here for 700 points, there's going to be more entries. Especially if we can get above 280s, that'd probably take a little bit to get above. But if we get above that, maybe even a retest, I'd be interested in re-slamming longs. I just don't expect us to rip above this. You can see clear as day from this chart if you know anything about candles and patterns or just structure. This is a big fucking resistance, right? Clear as day. I don't expect us to get up there and just rip through it. That's why I'm going to be front running that area a little bit on the main exit for the position. Probably won't hold runners for that personally. At that point, I'd probably just be looking to go full out and wait for another setup on, let's say, the 15 or the hourly to get back in. Whether that be with the same account, different account, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, Logan, that's a brick wall. So I would be shot. I mean, if we rip through that, we're going straight to all-time highs on YM. I'll say that right now. Like if we just break through it without any hesitation, then bulls will be in full control. YM will be at all-time highs tomorrow. Appreciate you, Zyro. It means a lot, brother. It does. Already answered that one. Asia versus New York for me and why. Coda. Shocking, but I heavily prefer Asia over New York. Heavily. And a good reason for me is it's a lot easier to get in trades where even if you miss an entry, the price action moves slower. You can get in without having to worry at all. And I also don't mind holding trades for a longer period at all. You don't think we can reject the open and go down? Abraham, that's why I moved my stop up to break even. If we do reject and go down, get back to the stop, lose this high. Because right now on this chart, why I have my stop where I have it, we obviously have a clear support here on the 515, whatever time frame you want to look at. So from this 50,060 to like 45, we have a clear support. I have my stop at the lower end of that area just because if we break back into that, I'd more so be interested in it sweeping the lows again. And I'd be like, all right, I want to be out of this position. But we could easily reject the open. I have no problem with that. The potential of this trade in the upside isn't worth me taking the position off, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean you don't have to if you took this trade or if you took a similar trade. I'll be back dinner. See you in a bit, Logan. Lots of equal highs and consolidation. That what makes a resistance. Yeah. And I feel like it's something a lot of people overcomplicate. Like these areas for me, especially on ES, the one we held, you can see where I got it from. And I drew this right before stream. I got this from the pre-market price action. double bottom-ish structure here. You can see there's a heavy resistance here. Retested it intraday for New York, and then retested it again throughout this session. So that's going to be a pretty big resistance or support for me to pay attention to. I did the same up here. And that's all support resistance is. It's just finding structure that you can see there's going to be sellers at. If you look at this chart, it should be pretty transparent. There's sellers here. Every single time we test this area, we push back lower. So sellers do not want us back over this. Pretty transparent. But if we do break it at that point, that would tell me that bulls are strong enough to get us back above this, in which we should easily see continuation higher. But since there's likely that heavy amount of sellers, and this is obviously without looking at any order flow or anything like that, like gamma, book map, whatever, this is just basic structure. But that's why if we get up there, I kind of want to go out full position and then just look for a reentry, because I anticipate us to get a rejection in that area, in which we then just look for a new entry later on. Toasted, I look back at price action and just draw it simply where I see us respecting. And I do this a lot with futures levels, because I do futures differently than Jake with just levels and stuff. But that's how I draw a lot of it. I just look for broader pivots of where I anticipate us to either reject, or if we break above, where we should get continuation higher. And I mark those out. Agreed, Zyra. I think if we get above the open on the indices, because if we look to, NQ's already above the open. And I'll flip back and forth if you guys want to look at the forward grid at all. I did this, and I'm thinking about doing this more often, whether it's like ES and then whatever we're trading, or if we're trading ES, I'll have NQ there. Just because I feel like this is a lot on the screen for you guys. And also my picture kind of partly covers YM, I believe. But if you longed anything, your P&L should look pretty good right now. Which is interesting because the chat, as we were at the lows, when I got my entry, the poll was like 71 or 70% bearish. Those are gamma levels. Besh, are you saying on gamma, these are levels? Like while looking at gamma? Because I'm going to be honest, I told Mitch this. I'm very interested in gamma because I feel like it correlates very well to structure. And it'll just give you more conviction of how we should react to that area or how much is defending it. So we got the Asia Open, retesting the Open on YM. Really don't want to see us much back below like 75s. I would rather see us hold this little bit of a push here and see if we can get continuation. Because if not, we're kind of stuck in a wider range, and that just doesn't look fun for anybody. Move your stop to lock in a qualifying day and got stopped out. Trade. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but you logged a day. What up, Moke? How you doing, brother? I tried a rocket scooter. I've heard of rocket scooter, but I don't know exactly what it is. All right, a little cautious with how we're rejecting. A little bit. I don't think I'm going to move my stop. I think I'm just going to let it breathe, whether it stops me out or not. But I don't like the rejection so far, but I'm not going to let 1 2-minute candle get me to sell out of a position. Your volume profile trader, and all VP does for me is give me the ability to read structure faster, and it's awesome for entries. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of that stuff just basically tells you structure or trend, right? Like if you look at EMAs, it's just telling you the overall trend on a certain amount of candles that are lagging behind. Couple of interesting levels. One of them is gamma exposure. Interesting. I mean, if I did anything gamma related, I would go right to the GOAT himself, Mitch. And I've already told him I might be interested in diving into some shit with him. Pretty weak 5 minute here with the rejections of the opens. 15 still has time, but at this point, I'm getting a little more cautious of it pulling back into stop, which if it happens, it happens. What up, Victoria? Now, I do that for a reason because too many people hit the, I don't know shit about fuck one. So I make them pick. Helped me a lot. Hell yeah, Trade Wop. He'd love to see it. He'd love to hear that. Yeah, Zyro, even though I have, because I do have EMAs on my chart, clear as day, you can see them, right? Can't hide them. You can see just by the way I talk, I have never structurally been like, oh my, yeah, we're breaking above this EMA. That one's curling above that one. I believe I put them on my chart a year and a half ago and just left them there. If I've used them, it's maybe been like 1 or 2 times looking at the 4-hour chart and I didn't know what I was doing. But no, VWAP's definitely interesting as well. What up, Com? How you doing, brother? One HP, what do you mean it's a CME's margin requirement for each session? That sounds interesting. Appreciate you, Logan. It's just, I know a lot of people don't like holding through stuff like that, but you also have to realize how I trade. And I know a lot of you know that by now. I'm fully willing to let, and I already showed the potential P&L aspect of it. I'm willing to let this stop me out because of the potential that this trade has. If it stops me at break even, I'd be willing to take another entry if structure sets up. One thing you have to remember too is we have this kind of volatility popping up as quick as it did. Pullbacks are going to be more volatile. Dude, I hate that they put this little button right here because that is the spot I always click on these and I hit it every time. But when you see this kind of volatility popping off, obviously 113 points isn't crazy on the YM. But when you see that, you're going to see more aggressive pullbacks. But like we said, though, when we talked about the YM, and obviously y'all were here, this area right around here, we said contest. But if we break that, that's where I would get a little bit weaker and anticipate my stop and possibly the lows to get hit. We came down, held it perfectly, ripped right back higher. So zero reason to even think about exiting. What up, A. Miller? EMA and a trend day can be golden? Yeah, I have nothing wrong with EMAs. Like Stock Market Wolf uses EMAs. I could never shit talk EMAs if that man uses them. Thoughts on gold? You have a few interesting things here on gold. Let me delete this because obviously that's the prior day's lows. So a few thoughts on gold that you can look at. And it's going to be similar. Gold has been very weak overall, and we all know that. But if we look at it right now, it swept yesterday's lows. If you're paying attention to this overall structure, breaking these lows should have sent us lower. Easily should have. So for me, now I kind of start to look towards yesterday's Asia Open. Is that yesterday's Asia Open? The Sunday's Asia Open, yeah. I start to look up towards that, which is also the high from the New York session. Why? Because this should have easily continued. Easily. Broke these lows with how bearish gold has been. Should have continued. If we get above the open, now it starts to flip first off the 4-hour green. Also, the hourly is trying to set that broader failure to go lower aspect. Obviously, reversals are a lower statistical type of move. But when you have conviction across all the time frames, that's where I would gain interest. But if we get above the open, maybe a little consolidation right here. In the problem with how we've been lately during this session, that could be a 2-minute candle. We could close 1 to 3 candles like this right here and then rip above the open. But if we get above the open, I'd be looking towards 164s, 160 to 164 on gold. I think that'd be a pretty easy target. And it'd be a pretty big hold too, because you probably need a decent stop with how we're currently trading. Well, I am still fighting the open, which I'm cool with. Because now too, if we get above the open, this is also why I'm not overly interested in trimming at 50. If you look at the current price action and structure we got, we just rallied, let's say 50-ish points. My initial area I was looking at was about 150, but if we break the open, we should at least get that to the upside of continuation. And to be honest, I would anticipate more. So that already puts us above that. And at that point, anything above this high, I'm looking towards 280s. Oh, wrong thing. What the fuck is Rocket Scooter? No, Zyro, it's some program. That's all I know about it. How you trade gold, silver, and oil won't let me on Lucid? Logan, you should be able to. Lucid doesn't restrict anything. So you should be able to trade them. Thing about EMAs is how it already tells you what you see. Agreed. Yeah, 1 HP. I know you have to have a certain amount of margin in your account to trade, but I don't understand what it means by a level based off the margin requirement in your account. That's where I'm confused with it. I wouldn't say it definitely doesn't change every day. I mean, it probably does within the CME, but individual brokers don't change them unless we get heightened volatility. Like if we get back to the point where if gold starts to get its buying pressure back, where it's making 5% moves a day, then you're going to start to see the margin requirements on that lift a little bit for a short period of time. It says non-compatible via trade of it. No, Logan, I mean, you should be able to trade those on Trade of It. I don't use Trade of It on Lucid, so I can't confirm that, unfortunately. Hey, Miller, everything you see on my charts, I draw myself. Appreciate you, Armani. We do what we do. You took a jab at gold, small, cute. I'm going to assume that's W. Yeah, W. What up, Armani? You use Trade Bay with Lucid? Yeah, I use Trade C just because when I started using Lucid was when they launched Trade C, and I was just interested in the platform. And I like it so far. We're still fighting the opens across the board. Struggling a little bit. NKD's holding up a little as well, so that's not bad. Might need just a little more conviction and buying pressure to get actual trend on YM. By the way, chat, make sure you hit the like button because later we are giving away a 50K Alpha Futures account. I just realized that was off my screen. That's my bad. But we will be giving that away once we hit 150 thumbs up. What up, Kelp? How you doing, brother? Yeah, Miller. I mean, trading session is definitely interesting. It's something that I can see being beneficial for sure. Yeah, I usually just mark all my levels. Like before stream, I have to go through and mark every single prior day high low. So I don't hate the thought of getting an indicator for that, or at least just having one made, which I could mess around with Claude and get it made, just because it's something I have to do every single day. Zyro, that's how I trade. And I also believe that like my opinion is I don't love trading view through trade of 8 because it just adds another step to get the orders filled. Obviously, I'm trading a prop firm right now, so my orders probably aren't going to be perfect anyway. I expect some slippage, but yeah, I use the Dom for everything on trade of 8. I love trading on Doms. Trading view fills, terrible fills. It always starts like down 20. I feel like you're gonna get that a lot on prop firms. Like I think when I jumped in YM, it filled me 2 points above where we were, so I automatically started down, and that just is what it is, you know. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the aspect of it sending orders to trade of 8 to send orders to where it needs to go. Zyro, the one thing I will say is I don't believe the prop firms have anything to do with the orders on the brokers with funded accounts. But no, I agree. I feel like too many people though see trade of 8 because trading on TradingView is simple. And the thing is, Trade C is basically identical to it, just most people don't realize that. I just like all the executional stuff you can do on Trade of 8, and I feel like most people just don't understand the capabilities you have with it. I moved my stop up, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. This is technically up one more. Yeah, you're good, brother. Chat, you guys did anything right now other than maybe like YM? I'm sure there's a decent amount of people long. I would assume there's not too many people short, but there's probably still people shorting, which is what it is. We're in a broader downtrend. I see it. I understand it. It's not like we're in a clear as day uptrend. But what are you guys in? What you guys trading? Yeah, spreads are definitely, especially on something like YM, because YM and RTY are going to have lower volume. I'm also looking on ES. Are you long on ES? Hell yeah. Did you get in off that 74.30 area? Favorite trader, I use market when I'm looking at a position and want to get into it. Because yes, there's a chance you get filled 2 points off on something like YM, maybe up to like 5. To me, if the trade's good enough, that little slippage won't matter. Sometimes, like I believe yesterday's trade, I set a stop loss to enter the trade above where we were. So sometimes I use limits. If I set a position above us to where if we trigger it, I get entered into the position. And then for trims, it depends. I always use a hard stop loss for limit orders, no matter what. Trims, it just depends structurally where we are and how we're trading. There's times I use limit, times I use market. I look at the entire chat. It's just NQ, and that's it. 2 cons, NQ long, 750. Hell yeah, you're already up 100 points. God damn, dude, NQ ripped. Ripped. Nothing missed fair to go lower entry on NQ. There will be more entries if you continue to trade throughout the night. That's the greatest thing about it, though. Are you locked in my Green Day boys? Hell yeah, Zyro. So we have someone long 750, someone long 742, someone long 760, someone else long 750. Y'all got in at the exact same 10-point parameter. So hell yeah. $758, another one. Dude, did the entire chat long NQ between this right here on this little consolidation? Every single one of you got in within 10 points. I love to see it though. Hop in and say what up. Appreciate you, Ollie. See you, trade Bob, even though you're probably already hopped. Looking for around 900. 900 off 750s. That's a nice trade. And throw off the break of 74.55, looking for 70. Not loving it though. That's fair. I mean, we're fighting around the open. ES is fighting around the highs of the end of day range. So it's going to be a battle. It's not just going to be clean trending price action on the way up, especially because we're still in broader ranges. And if we fight for a little bit, we fight for a little bit. Probably got to try it out last night. Hell yeah, 1 HP. The reverse button can be really good if you're open to switching thesis very quickly. Finally caught NQ rip. Love it, Acer. If we take out this low, we might see that stop get tested. Buyers aren't defending as much as we'd love them to right now. But we're just in like a 60-ish point range at the moment on YM. Yeah, agreed, 1 HP. Something you can also do is if you're like, let's just say we're long, obviously, but if we get back below 45, we'd be interested in shorting. You could always set double the amount of orders right there. The second it fills, it'll fill you in that same position short. There's this girl on Threads. It's been longing NQ at 8 p.m. every day. Tried it and I'm up 1,100 tonight. How? Oh, 8 p.m. I was looking at 6 p.m. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you got smoked. No, 8 p.m. Yeah, you're chilling. Nice entry. Has it done that every day lately? Well, luckily you didn't do it yesterday because you would have gotten slaughtered. Yesterday would have been painful. What about Sunday? Sunday went nuclear. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I feel like if that's the entire strategy she's using, I'll be honest, that's just straight gambling for the most part. But if it works, it works. Yeah, Steve, likely just the Asia Open is what they're eating. Check 8 p.m. Sunday, Robinhood Open. You want me to check a chart on the Robinhood app? To be fair, she said she's scalping. That's fair. That's fair. That's why TBT slow rolling live Pro Plus account. I wonder how many people are waiting on Pro Plus accounts right now. And that also shows people don't get streamer privilege. Jake's waiting on accounts just like you guys are. I missed a long 9:30 candle Monday. You missed it? Yeah, 1 HP wait, Robin opens futures at 8 p.m. on Sundays? They should open futures at 6 p.m. on Sundays. Also, I feel like Robinhood is one place I would not want to trade futures. We might get hit here on the stop. So we're getting a little bit more weakness as ES comes into the open. If I can stop break even, oh well. I'll probably continue to watch the same possible setup. Yeah, no, I can't imagine trading futures on Robinhood because it's already hard enough to get fills on options sometimes. We're still fighting this area. The problem is any selling pressure at all hits that for me. All right, so we want to see how ES reacts to the open. I just don't like how close we are to that stop. NQ is holding very well structurally. Might get wicked here. Yep, I just got wicked. Oh well. See if I can find another entry on it if it ends up holding structure. Do not tell me that is the low, though, because I'll enter pretty quick without a problem. Let's see. Yeah. I'm going to get back in off of it. I'm obviously in a little higher than I was. Stop will still be closer. I think I just ran my stop too tight. If I get stopped, I get stopped. Now we move up 200, probably, Logan. I still like the trade. Main thing I'm paying attention to is ES retesting the open as well. YM just ended up getting a little more selling pressure than everything else, but structure's still holding around. I'm willing to take that risk to re-get in. I don't love that we got quite literally wicked by one tick, which fucking blows, but it is what it is. Next time on YM, we leave our stop a little longer. Happen to be, Logan, what do you mean? Like you missed you by 2 points? Yeah, Acer, I'm not stressed about it at all. Oh, I should probably set my stop. I'm going to put it at 20 versus like 23, which 3 points isn't going to do anything. So it's basically the initial stop. Again, if we get above the open this time, I'll probably trail the stop again. You want 2 points past your stop and reversed? Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. If I wasn't like break even and I actually took a full stop, I wouldn't jump back in right away. I know I'd be more irritated with this if it wicked my stop by 1 point, 1 tick, and then fully reversed versus me taking a stop on this position. So that's kind of where I'm weighing that. Like if this stops me out, lost a trade, which is wrong. If it ends up ripping after hitting me by 1 tick, probably be a little more irritated. Chat, I see we're almost around 110 likes. If you hit the thumbs up button on the stream in 43 more likes, which I know y'all can do, we will be running a 50K Alpha Futures giveaway. Yesterday, buy stop. My silver buy stop hit 64.04. Look at silver now. Am I missing something? Oh, this is the ETF. It's not the future. Ooh, 64. Oh, fuck. That's tough. That is brutal. Are you even trade silver? Dude, there's a few people in here that trade silver. Also, there's going to be some of you that remember from the very beginning of stream. Like when I first started streaming in Discord, not even YouTube, I think within the first 3 days, as I was fine-tuning my Asia session strategy, which is why I now run usually wider stops. Because if this was New York, I'd probably throw a stop right here. Because we would either hit it quickly or get away from it rather fast. But on Asia, it goes a little slower, so I run wider stops. Within the first 3-4 days of streaming in Discord, I think we got stopped out by sub 2 ticks 7 times? Around there? You had 9 contracts? God damn, Acer. Yeah, no, that's painful. You only trade silver when it has clear direction. That's fair. I've never traded silver. I mean, I barely trade gold. I don't think I would mentally want to even think about silver. Silver's an adrenaline rush. I feel like it'd be fun. Like if I fully turned on degen hours, I probably wouldn't even trade silver then. I'd probably just trade gold. Because gold's an adrenaline rush if you size enough. But no, I'm sure the risk to reward on silver is just worth it in general. If you can find a tight stop and that thing rips as far as it has been, I mean, you're going to make an astronomical amount of money. I feel like silver would be a really good name to like add into winners on. One silver contract rose to me in 3 seconds. What's silver's return per point? So I know gold's 1,000. It's got to be more than that. Isn't it like 5K or something crazy? Who is this guy? What up, Yang? I'm Ron G. $100 for minis. 5K for stop loss, 100 for minis. Huh? Micro's micro on silver is 1,000 per point. So you're telling me a mini is 10K per point? Holy shit. But no, for those of you that don't know, this is Project 365. It is on the Rake Trades Network. Obviously, I'm Ron G. There's 5 of us hosts that trade on this session or trade on this stream. I run the Asia session, 7 p.m. to usually like 9, 10, or 11, depending on when I want to stream till. Mr. Azang Allen runs 1 a.m. Eastern to 3 a.m. Eastern. Then you have Jake, Rake Trades, usually around 8:30, 9-ish in the morning, till about 11:30, 12:30. Mitch, 12:30, 1:30, and then Lamelli, 1:30 to 3:30 or 4-ish. Yeah, our goal is we just run these streams. We're looking to do it for Project 365, 365 days. Don't lie, there's only 4 of you. Yeah, Lamelli. But we're running it for minimum 365 days. Obviously, if the support's there, which it clearly is, because you guys show up to every stream and we appreciate it, we're going to keep doing it. We don't plan to stop at all. We do, for those that don't know, we do a lot of giveaways. And I mean a lot of giveaways. Usually 1 per stream minimum. Alan usually does 2. Jake does anywhere between 0 to 5, maybe more. Yeah, it's basically our way to just be a part of the community, right? Grow a live trading aspect on top of like the Discord that Jake already has. But it's just to give back to you guys. We just trade live. We talk to you guys. There's a lot of sauce and questions that get asked a lot in these. So if anyone has any, feel free to ask. We're all open books. Giveaways done? No, brother. Once we get 150 likes on the stream, I'll run the giveaway. Appreciate you, Steve. Appreciate you, Ty. Got myself 3 micros, 200 points on NQ there. Hell yeah, JT. Love it. This is likely going to be a slower trade for me, but YM usually is. Problem with the YM trades is it's enter the trade, wake up at whatever time you wake up in the morning and see where the contract is. Yeah, so basically, Yang, any session you want to trade, we likely have someone on for it. The only time slot we don't really have anyone, or 2 time slots, is from the end of my session till like 1 a.m. and then from 3 a.m. to like 8 a.m. But a lot of people aren't, I mean, there's probably actually a lot of people that trade those sessions. And we probably will have hosts for those, but at the moment we don't. Also, all of this is sponsored by Jake himself. It's not backed by prop firms. Any giveaway code we get, well, 99.5% of the giveaway codes we get, Jake buys himself. So if you do want to support the stream, support the channel. First off, like the stream. Second of all, hit the sub button. Third, if you're using any prop firms and you want to support, code RAKE or code RT will give you the biggest discount available. What up, AF? How you doing? $15-minute looks good. NQ is obviously getting a lot more strength across the board, which normally happens with NQ. I really don't want to see us push aggressively lower. I can be the 6th streamer. You got to go through the application process. I'm located in Ohio. And then everyone else is obviously, we're located all across North America, basically. So Bullet Bear 7, right now I'm more so bullish and bearish. We talked about it down here at the lower end of the range. Once we ended up started getting that hold, flipped more bullish. Asia's turning my favorite session. I'm usually working during New York session, but been catching good trades about every night. Taylor, I feel like Asia's a lot easier to trade than some people anticipate. And yes, you will have days where the market does not move, but it's also pretty clear when we do, because the first 2 hours, we just won't move at all. Right? Worst case, you have to stay till 8 p.m. Eastern, watch the Asia Open. If Asia Open doesn't move, probably call it a day. Well, you guys are hiring another streamer? I mean, not at the moment, but if Jake finds someone he wants to fill slots, you know he'll make the move. Jake's dream is to have this be like 23 hours a day. And this stream just basically never end. ES leader right now, NQ is leading. NQ and RTY, actually. I don't know why this shows weekly trades. This should be futures. Yeah, NQ's up 0.7%. It's moved, I think, 300 points off this rally. YM was relatively strong in the beginning when we got in, but it's just lagging now, which sucks, but is what it is. There's enough volume to be looking for that kind of risk to reward easily. To be fair, though, this would just be like a broader target for me. If we get buying pressure over the open on YM, this would be where I'd be looking for. It wouldn't be more so like an hour-long trade. I have no problem holding this trade for 8 hours. And that's how I trade futures when I trade the YM, at least. You saw Patrick Whelan does what you guys do. Patrick is one of the OGs, though. He started well before us. They did just open an Asia stream, I believe. Yang, that's the best thing, though, is just because I'm in a position doesn't mean anyone has to be. I always tell people, don't blindly follow my trades, build a thesis off of it, and trade what you want to trade with it. Or just listen to what I say. If you use it as a grain of salt, use it as another, just my point of view. If you like it, cool. Use it as conviction. If not, trade against me. I'm cool with either. But no, if you did well in New York, absolutely no reason to trade. There's probably a few people in here that aren't trading, that just chill. What time frame are you on? This is the 5 at the moment. When I trade, though, I look across everything. This is normally if I'm trading one individual asset. I'll look at the 5, 15, hourly, and 4 hour. With these charts, I mainly just pay attention to the correlation between the indices. Yeah, Logan, I know you took the one earlier. Now you're just chilling. Hell yeah, brother. That's also a good reason why I say trade how you want to trade. Some people mentioned, couldn't it reject the open and push back lower? Yeah. Logan got out when he wanted to get out. It pulled back and hit me at break even. I use the same time frames. Hell yeah. Love it. I always thought someone should do a recap or a chart review from 5 to 6. 1 HP, that wouldn't be bad. But if we did that, we would probably have someone do 5 to 7 and give them the first hour of Asia, which, as most of you know, the first hour of Asia typically blows. Because we started streaming that in the Discord. We did the first hour, and that sucked most of the time. Really changed my perspective of Asia session since Project 365. Ellen also mentioned most of his profit last year from the session. It's underrated. It is very underrated. And for me, the reason it's underrated is because of how, if you catch a really nice trade, you can hold for an exponential amount of time. I mean, we've been on stream. You guys have seen it. We've held trades for quite literally 12 hours and possibly longer. Every single one of those trades also happened to be the YM, I believe, which is interesting. But no, Asia is very slept on. And I feel like a lot of people trade Asia for like a week and then they get one consolidation day and some people will be like, yeah, no, I don't like it. And because I see people post about it all the time on Instagram. You out? See you, Jeff. 8R Asia trade. GG for attempting it. Mohammed, you talking to me? Because this trade isn't 8R. This is 4.4R. And to be honest, that's just one target. If we're being transparent. But no, we've got trades way bigger than that. Short at the top today for break even in New York to dump. That's brutal. That's brutal. Very salty, but caught a good short in PM. Beautiful. I love it. You had a crazy YM trade like 2 weeks ago. 1 HP, it's usually like every 2 weeks I do that. But no, the last YM trade we took was when I think I screwed the consistency on that one funded. And I think I had the exact same size I'm using, and we made like 1,900 on that one, which was a crazy. It was like what, 700 points, somewhere around there. You sure the top? I feel like a lot of people got that today in the indices, just because of how overly volatile it's been. And yeah, a short up here would be phenomenal. The problem is with NQ, you get these kind of wicks that get you every time. Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact the way I trade, I'm going to get stop break even. And it just is what it is. We took one break even yesterday after trimming as well. And then today we got one break even, which happens. But it's just the way I trade, looking for the larger potential moves, that's going to happen a decent amount, which I'm cool with. If I fall asleep, unless you do a giveaway soon, Cole, if people like it, if we get 24 more likes, we'll run the giveaway. I'm not gonna lie, during New York, I usually don't trade the open. I love trading PM. After probably like 11:30, that's my favorite time to trade during New York. Outside of obviously Asia. Like the stream if you want a green trade. You heard the man. You heard Kyle. What up, baby? How you doing? You liked it, Cole. How many accounts you got? You liked it 6 fucking times? Damn, gold got it all the way to the open. Rejected that. Oil's still weak at the moment as well. I feel like right now we're more so just range bound, which is unfortunate. If ES does reject, why I might try to go for that prior low. We'll see. We are coming into the 9 p.m. hour in 12 minutes as well. Entering on what, Logan? Oh, on all those accounts? That's not the new meta. I guarantee you people have been doing that. We've had people win a giveaway and then immediately delete the Instagram account. So we know that it's like immediately sketch. Yeah, I guarantee you there's a decent amount of people that try to do that. It wouldn't shock me. Not so much on my streams, but more so like Jake's, right? When you have 1,000, 1,200 viewers, you're gonna have people that have multiple accounts. You just keep clicking it, hoping there's a glitch. We only need 17 more likes to run it. So it could happen pretty quick. The funniest thing is we'll need 17 for like 15 minutes, but the second I run the giveaway, we'll get 25. You would never guess. Logan, the only problem is unless you have a second Instagram, then it's kind of obvious. Like 0 for $1 million on the giveaways. Just wait till today, 1 HP. You're going to be 0 for 1,000,001. Bump those numbers up. It's the exact same name. Yeah, I think that might be a little obvious. I'm going to start opening up the giveaway because I know you guys will get there soon. I'm not opening it on stream yet, just opening up the dashboard. Wait, 1 HP. What's the statistical outlier? What are we doing in the market right now? We're building a nice 15-minute consolidation up here. Hourly close in 8 minutes. Four-hour looks good, but we still have an hour left. We may need some time. Go short YM? You can. For me, I'd rather just let my stop get hit. There's 0 run on giveaways. 1 HP. I mean, there's been people that definitely have you topped, unless you've been in the Discord since day one. There's been people that have been in the Discord since Mastermind 1 and finally won the giveaway when stream started, which was kind of funny. Logan, I'm fine with people having opposite theses of me. I got no problem with it. Definitely not overly interested in shorting YM. Just because I would, for the same risk to reward aspect, I don't think we get that. And if we do, I mean, it'd have to get very weak to see that kind of selling across the board. Guys, and Brown says like the stream. You guys are close. We're close to doing a giveaway. We're very close. How many accounts you trade? Miller, usually at most, I don't want to have over like 5 fundeds personally, just because then it's a lot for me, like a lot of different accounts to pay attention to. I will only copy trade like 3 accounts max, usually 2 to 3 at a time if I copy trade them. So I usually have to just rotate them throughout the sessions. I'll usually trade 1 during Asia. And for Asia, I trade till like 1, 2 in the morning sometimes. Really depends on the structure. And then I'll trade 1 during New York. Someone say giveaway. Welcome back, Ollie. YM too slow to short? YM makes some violent moves to the downside. It's just most of its violent moves are to the upside. Unless you see something like this towards the end of day. But no, structurally, I feel like the only time I trade YM is just bigger potential longs off the daily chart. Winning the account raffle will be a game changer for you. Hopefully you win it. Hopefully you get it. 5 more. Just let me know when we hit it and I'll start it. Yeah, Miller. I personally like though having them across multiple firms. I don't know why. So I'll usually have like 3 on one, 2 on the other, something like that. And then I just ride with those. But I like having them split across different firms. So they're not all like grouped together, essentially. Yeah, 1 HP, we'll see. If we get any type of volatility, ES is going to need to hold the open or else we'll likely get stopped on this. Yeah, my main 2 firms that I run are just Tradify and Lucid. Those are my 2 favorite by far. With this current structure, though, if the hourly pushes lower, it's not going to be good going into the Hong Kong Open. If ES gets back below this hourly high, it's going to be a lot more of a bearish candle, I'd say, sitting in this hourly range. So we need to continue to hold the open and ideally get like 5 minutes of buying pressure. 200 more on Tradify to pass your eval. Miller says full port immediately. Didn't even hesitate. Didn't even give him time to think. Just full port it right away. Nah, that's the best thing to do. Obviously, if you need 200, you want to do max contracts with 5 minis. Preferably, if you're going to do it, gold, maybe NQ, and then see if you can make that 200, right? No, Sosa. I got stopped at break even on that trade. I'm not worried about the 600. For me, I was looking at the bigger potential on this trade. Trades like this, I have no problem getting stopped out. You've blown accounts 200 away. I've seen people blow accounts sub $50 away. I haven't blown one of those. At least that in my memory. But I've seen people blow accounts at like sub $50. It was full port and I crash. This time I'm going slow. I usually trade eval slower. I have no problem. Bro, people who ask that, yeah, polar bear. I mean, there's people, you got to remember, everyone has different strategies, but people tend to think that everyone needs to execute like them. And also, a lot of people would love to be up $600. For me, yeah, $600 is sick. But if the trade has potential to go higher, I'm not really worried about it. Because like, if we get up to where we want to, you're looking at upwards of 1,800, 2,000-ish, most likely. What would that be? 78, was it 2? It'd be like 1,600. So at that point in that trade, when I'm sitting here up 600, I'm risking $600 at a break-even stop to potentially make 900 more just on this target. But also, you guys know I'm looking farther than that if we get continuation. Do you trade mainly minis and no micros? Marty, I'm in micros right now. I usually trade micros. I'll size up to 20 most of the time. 20 is like my cap that I trade. And that's what I run with during this session. During New York, I don't trade too mini size. Polar bear, we'll probably see you in a minute 20 if that low's put in or not. Yeah, I got heavy and wanted that fast 200 turn right away. I let it ride and took me. Ty, yeah. I mean, I've been there wholeheartedly. I've been there before. What I usually do in situations like that, you can set your daily profit target to liquidate your position. And if I need 200, I will set that at 220. I'll take a trade where I'm risking maybe like $125 or somewhere around there for like a 2R kind of setup, maybe even 2.5 that has high conviction. So while that trade's working out at some random point, it'll kick me out of the position without me having to worry about executing. And that's usually how I handle trying to get lower days like that. or lower trades. Where are we at likewise? Chad, y'all are stalling out. Y'all are stalling out. I literally need 3 people. As long as the ES holds the open, we should be good. That's exactly what I'm watching, bitch. The only thing is the intercession now, YM is holding a little bit of weakness compared to the other indices. Higher time frame, it's still strong, but YM usually does this when it's making the larger moves, is it sits in a little bit of a range like this at times. Unfortunate, but if I get stopped, I'm not worried about it. I'll probably be looking for something later on. $150 done, is it? Yes, sir. You're just sitting there refreshing, watching the lights. All right. Chat, to enter the giveaway, all you're going to have to do is once the bot replies in chat, you'll see it. Type exclamation mark, enter, and then send that in chat. It'll give you a ticket. You'll get a reply. You can do it now. It'll probably still count it, but make sure you get a reply if you type it before. So you have 5 minutes starting right now. All you got to do, exclamation mark, enter in the next 5 minutes. We're giving away a 50K Alpha Futures 0 account. With that, though, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Let's see how much time you guys still got. I'm sure YM and usually don't trade this. Only ES usually. Yeah. I mean, it could work. Where are we at on the giveaway? 3 minutes left. Hey, Brian, you spelled it wrong. Box, you put L enter. Vish, you will what break into existence? Exclamation mark, spell it right. It won't reply to you. It probably did, brother. I would assume it did. You don't always have to get a reply to be in. Like, I guarantee you, you're probably in. I'll double check real quick, but I'm not going to do it for everybody because that would be a lot. So you're in. Doesn't always have to reply for you to get in. Sometimes it bugs a little bit. ES breaking the open. Yeah, Vish, this is on you. Nah, we can still hold. I'm not stressed about it. And if I get stopped, I get stopped. 5 minutes trying to set a little bit of a lower high here. If we do end up holding below the open and NQ gets below the open, my entire thesis across the board would flip bearish for the most part, at least to retest that 430s on ES. Gold is dying. Is it? It is. Oh, no, that's oil. Is everything just dying? Hang on. NKD. Pulling back a little bit. Not too aggressive. See if it holds or not. Exclamation mark win. Initial. I don't think that's how that works, brother. You do exclamation mark enter, which you already did. Now you just want to win? Dying to win? Hell yeah. Chat, you guys have 40 seconds left. There's a decent, this is probably the highest percentage of chat to entries we've had. I'm gonna be honest. CXT, you spelled it wrong. Did you spell it right before, or is that, there you go, you got it. It's funny, I can tell when you guys spell it wrong because it auto-corrects it to a different language for some reason. Introvert, spelled it wrong. Every time someone types L enter, it corrects it to slowly. Appreciate you, Ty. Is it an inverse head and shoulders on the 1 hour on YM? Could be, if you're looking at it like that. All that essentially means is that's a higher low that's trying to set up, which is why we initially got in this trade. It just ended up pulling back on the first entry. So that's like the broader structure of why I'm in this. I'm not in off the 5-minute chart or even the 15. I'm in off the hourly, 4-hour, and daily. What you mean, Moke? Moke, you didn't get in? Oh, you got in right after? How many people didn't get in? If I see a bunch, I mean, there's a decent amount of you that got in. I know that for sure. I think Moke just might be missing. Manifesting it, drawing your name. The problem is there's a bunch of you that are manifesting it. All right, I don't see anyone saying they didn't get in except for Moke. So unfortunately, I got to run it. Because if I open it just for one person, then it looks like I'm kind of favoring. Some crazy bad luck. Yeah, unfortunate, brother. Good thing, though, is I know you're on multiple streams. There'll be more for sure. Killer trades. Have you won before? I know you've been in chat quite a bit. I know you've been active. I just don't know if you've won. And we will check. Obviously, we have a massive list of everybody who's won. Does it tell you how many there are? No, but there's, for instance, of how many giveaways we've done just on the bot, there's 2 full pages of giveaways. Crazy. Killer trades, you here? Normally you're here. Stay for Azang trades for the next drawing. Yeah. If you didn't win, also don't leave yet until Killer replies. What you mean chat disconnected? I think chat disconnected for 2 seconds, but we're back. Yeah, we'll give him a few minutes, see if he replies. But we need to see, because if he doesn't, we'll run it again. He's got to switch to his alt. I'm pretty sure that's his main. YM's trying to hold, tried to get back over, but we're rejecting here. He's sleeping already. Run it back. Give him some time, Jack. Give him some time. especially because we know Killa. I feel like he's definitely been here. He needs to get his mom's phone. If that's the case, that might be an issue. Exclamation mark re-roll. Bring out the pitchfork. You guys boycotting me now? We're waiting on Killa. I'm gonna give him a minute 30 from now. So total it'd be like 3 minutes. I feel like that's a fair amount of time. Message me, he's typing, it's not going through. Oh, Killa, okay. I see you saying here. For some reason, I got you, Killa. Don't worry, I got you. This is weird. If I'm on top chat, which is what it automatically starts on, so I appreciate you letting me know he's typing. But if you go to live chat, now his messages pop up, and I forgot to go to live chat. So why was he not sure? Did you say something bad, Killa? Let me look. Also, let me check. I don't think you did, but for some reason, the main chat hates you. Wait, Killa, you said I didn't win in 365. You've won before. When did you win? I also noticed he said here like 8 times, and I was just straight up ignoring him because I didn't see his messages. The funniest part is the entire chat was saying re-roll while he was currently typing in chat, and I just couldn't see it. He's not a top chatter, re-roll. He literally has the number 1 next to his name. If you go to top fans, he is beating all of you guys. So he is the top chatter. Killa, in Discord or on stream? So if you look at the top of your chat and it says live chat or top chat, for some reason, he's only in live chat, which is weird. Discord, so it wasn't part of the streams, right? Because that's completely separate. If you've won in Discord, that is what it is. We've been doing Discord giveaways for 5 years. So just can't, we're not gonna, okay. I'll check the list before I give it to you anyway, just to make sure. But you should be good. Congratulations, brother. If not, we'll give away 2 tomorrow. So usually what it does though, if it's top chat, it'll block certain comments where people are saying like dumb shit or words that YouTube doesn't like. But he's not, so I don't understand why his is only like that. But I just forgot to go to live chat today. They were just talking to himself. Dude, I looked at it. He quite literally said here, how many times was that? Said here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And I was just like, oh, we're about to give it to someone else. That's what it felt like. Yeah, I mean, always feel free to DM or something if that happens. I'm glad someone else caught it. But yeah, I hate that YouTube does that. All right, chat. So far, we're back at break even. I can guarantee you when stream ends, I will still be in this trade, unfortunately. I feel like the ghost of Christmas past. Dude, there was someone who won one of Jake's giveaways. And he messaged Jake that he was spamming in chat. And his messages didn't exist. So I'm wondering if that guy was blocked. Probably his username got YouTube feelings. That could be it, Electra. That literally could be it. Because every single one of his messages is basically hidden from the top chat. Even though he's the top fan on this stream. That's why he became #1 in chat. Not fair. I mean, well, no, Vish, also, it's view time. So he's probably been here since the beginning for the most part. Which I know a decent amount of you guys have been. I don't participate ever, but gonna second the re-roll motion. You want to re-roll while he's fucking here? No, Muhammad. I usually stream, my time slot is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. When chats pop in, the charts look fine. I usually have an addiction of where I stream till like 10, sometimes 11. So I'll go double my time and go like 4 hours. But it just depends on 1, the market, and 2, the chat. Killa, I'm wondering if it's your name. because it has literally the word in it. You know, YouTube just doesn't like stuff like that. Like most of our VODs, they'll get restricted. Not most of them, but if we say certain things on YouTube, like the views can get restricted. Wait, let me see that. No, that last message got through. So I don't know. YouTube just doesn't like you. I don't know what to tell you. It's in the game. I'm gonna be honest though, if we keep consolidating, I might call it wraps and just leave the position. I don't like ES maintaining below 50 because the longer we maintain below 50 and around the open, we might end up breaking lower. How'd that hourly close? Hourly close more neutral, not bad. I just think this is gonna be a long trade if it holds, which we're used to that with YM. I don't think we've had a YM trade be under 8 hours, which is nuts. Yeah, MD, I still see overall bullish possibilities. If we do lose structure, I can see more of a broader consolidation, which I would rather not be in a trade at that time. So I'm happy taking a stop. And then I'll just reassess probably in like 2 hours or something. T23, every time you get on chat, it defaults to top chat. I'm assuming that's a YouTube preference because they block certain messages in chat. What up, Static? How you doing, brother? Yeah, Killer, that's the funny thing. I wonder how many people couldn't see your chat or could see your chat that were telling me to re-roll. I put time and sales on MNQ today. Interested to see how many 1 to 3 lots come through versus 5+. Interesting. Yeah, Killer, shoot me a DM on Instagram or else, or Instagram or Discord, either or. Grimy, not grimy, greedy. Greedy. Chat wants to win. Yeah, MD, that's the greatest thing though. With the sessions we trade, if there's not like big follow through on my session, usually Allen's will get it. So someone's likely going to get it. CJY. What do you mean he was going to have an aneurysm? All right, so ES is losing. YM's still holding, which is okay. NQ's retesting the open. It's probably going to be like our last little line of support there is NQ around the open. If we lose that, I'm anticipating this to get stopped. Oh, when your code didn't work? Yeah, CJ, that was on our end. I figured that out pretty quick. I just looked at the sheet and I realized someone made an oopsie and I was like, ah. So that was a code that was given away another time. It just wasn't marked. Normally though, when people mention that, it's a code that we've never used before, should easily work. And we've had some very sketchy DMs after giving people codes. And we know no one's ever used the codes because we're the only ones with access to them, right? So that's why he's always cautious of it. He's always about to have one. Fair, fair. Nah, CJ, always say something. I didn't notice I don't get a lot of notifications from my Instagram DMs often, so I didn't see your message until I checked. Did the NQ 2 minute just gap down or is that just me? Probably low volume. Yeah, just low volume, little gap around the market. I mean, fuck, dude, look at YM. Obviously, it's harder to see because of the red, but yeah, double gap. Yeah, we're getting decently low volume here. It's when you start seeing these little gaps. I'm in profit. Hell yeah, brother. CJ won twice as JC. I saw you guys mention that this morning. Someone said that he won, even though it was a different person. We have had one sketchy person before, and we talked about it in chat when it was like the exact same name, but two different tickers after it. Today was a big old load of shit. Took 3 trades, and then my TP and went back to my stop loss break even. Static, that's kind of market we're in. We're getting decent moves, but we're not getting a lot of continuation, I would say. Mike, how restricted was it like a discount code? Because if you got a free code and it expired, I'd be a little skeptical of that. Can we do trivia for accounts? I have no luck with random picks. You know how crazy it would be to do like a Wednesday night trivia on stream and the winner gets an account? But also, there's usually 200-ish of you guys in here for the giveaway. You know how many fucking questions we would have to do to have one person win? It'd have to be like 100 questions. And I'm going to lose my entire chat if I make him do 100 questions. Wheel of Fortune. Ollie, there's 2 things I want to do. And I tried to do it on my birthday, but I couldn't exactly figure it out that fast. I want to do duck races because those are fun. And then I want to do the marble races for giveaways. I think those would be insane. Jake is giving away accounts based on answers at times. Yes, Bish, there is a difference. I have 1 account to give away. Jake has as many as he possibly wants to give away. Marble races are so entertaining. Dude, I want to figure out how to set that up so badly. Do you copy, I'm going to guess that's Tradeify accounts? If so, what's the best way? I do it within Tradeivate. Tradeivate has a copy feature that I use. Jake is like Oprah. Dude, if you guys saw the amount of codes that man has used, it's insane. Like thousands. Well over 1,000 that he's given away. All funded from his own pocket. If you love us, you'll buy more accounts to give us. No. Sorry, Gael. No. I don't get codes. I'm not an affiliate anymore. Apex also doesn't like me because they were not very... Their one support guy was having a really bad day when I asked him a simple question. And I'm not going back to that support. IG and Discord. Sounds good, Killa. I'm the real boss? Bitch, I wish. I wish I was. That's what happens when he makes 10K per trade. Yeah, I mean, A. Miller, I get that. But also, if you look at other streamers who are like that profitable, I don't think anyone gives away nearly as much as Jake. At least in the recent times. I also don't know like how much Max Options Trades gives away. I know in the past he's given away a shitload, but I don't know like the numbers of it. Apex support should be renamed Apex Resistance. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure since the start of streams, if you guys think about it, minimum every week, if we give one per stream, that's 25 accounts. So that's roughly 2,500 a week. Right there alone. And that's not giving away any extras. I think you're about to get a pump here. I still like the setup. I just think YM's stuck, and YM's definitely been stuck. $100K for free, got it. Is that what over 1,000 is? I think, yeah. Yeah, because he's surpassed. He's well over 1,000. I think with Alpha alone, he's over like 300 something. Yeah, no, he's giving away a shitload. Plus all the meetups he does. Those are way more expensive than people would think. Man's generous. Generous. Jake, Max, and Rips are probably way up there with the giveaways. I knew Max was up there. I've watched Rips in the past. I haven't watched him a lot, so I don't know how much he gives away. Why do you trade Asia? I like trading Asia session personally. A majority of my futures profits come from Asia session. They come from the 7 p.m. to like 1 a.m. time frame. Expect range night then. At the moment, Ivan, if YM gets above the open, then I anticipate continuation to the upside. Until we get that though, more so a wider range. But if ES gets back above 50, NQ gets back up towards high of day, and YM gets above the open, I think we can trend. At least a little bit. Vish. That was just on like that. I think that was last week or something. And that was just on the streams for giveaways was 40K. That's not counting the Discord. I trade options, but I keep seeing Asia stocks rallying while tech stocks in the US are dumping. Yeah, I mean, Asia's been getting slaughtered a decent amount lately as well. Like if you look at the main ones I look at are these three. So like Baba, obviously slaughtered, Baidu, obviously slaughtered, and then PDD as well, obviously slaughtered. Those are the main three Asia names I watch with options. Asia's up 10%. That's saying bitch. Mike, what's Black Arrow? I've never even heard of it. Oil's playing with your mind and patience. Is it trying to get some buying pressure? Everything's playing that game. Everything's looking like this basically on the hourly. Gold, same thing. Looks identical. Indices, not far off, right? More so just a wider range at the moment. One thing I do like is it looks like ES swept the prior hourly low. So did YM there. If we can continue, I think we can get the buying pressure higher. It's mainly just going to be a matter of when and how long is it going to take. Yeah, Vish, for perspective, before stream started, within like 2 or 3 weeks before stream, Jay gave away like 200 accounts in the Discord. And before that, it was like hundreds within a short period of time because he did that big 1,000 account giveaway that he posted on Instagram. And that was nuts. Do I have an I made it number? Not really, Gael. And if I did, it would be a more extreme number for sure. Like it wouldn't even be like if I got to like 1 million, I wouldn't be like, holy shit, I made it. I would know I'm doing well. But I feel like that's also easy to lose if you're done with it, you know? But no, I don't have like an exact number. I feel like it would be a moment in life where I'm like, yeah, I did it. No, Ivan, no. That would be a crazy strategy for the prop firm because it would be all risk for them. But no, Jake, he pays for every single account. What kind of FOMO the short in oil because the setup not yet complete, entered earlier? That's fair. I mean, it happens on when we're getting broader ranges that can easily creep up when you're just sitting looking at a chart for so long. I can see that happening. But if the indices do end up getting continuation, I can see oil getting a push lower. Oil is just a pain in the ass to trade at times. It's fun to trade when you get the continuation that it can provide. Because if oil, let's say it rips, it's going to the 74.3 quickly, at least when oil has volatility. But when oil is more so range bound, it kind of sucks to trade. We need 1,000 accounts plus pink hair on 100K subs. Bitch, if we get that by the end of July, deal on my part. You have 1 month to get 63,000 subs. We're going to need some help. Yeah, Pon, Asia is definitely slower. There's going to be times we get trending price action, but right now you have to bring into perspective what the overall market's doing. If we look at the daily charts on the markets, we're in a wide ass range here. Yes, we are getting some continuation on like the daily structure, but then you look at something like the YM. When we're getting daily ranges, Asia's going to range more so than not. There will be times you get slight moves up and down throughout it, but you usually get broader ranges. When you get trending price action like this, obviously Asia is pretty easy to trade. You just enter, try to hold overnight or catch your piece and get out. Today though, at least into tomorrow, I'm looking for the bigger YM trade. Lately, I haven't been looking for these kind of moves. It's been more so we catch 2.5R, we call it. End of year, no, not at all. Because I know if that deal's made, Jake, the first part would be crazy. But the second part, Jake would love to see that, and I don't want it. Yeah, Pons, that's how I view it. Like, I don't trade New York Open on futures or options that much, unless I love an individual name, which I haven't been trading a lot. I've been mainly just trading the indices. But yeah, Asia's drastically slower price action-wise. It is. It'll make these sharper moves, but the consolidations, like if this was New York, this might only be a 30-minute consolidation. Because it's Asia, it's going to be an hour, possibly 2. But that's also why I love this session. I love that I can just sit in a trade and not have to stare at it and worry about it. Like if I end stream while I'm still in this trade, I will leave my order set and not care. It's either going to stop me out or it's going to break the open and go towards profit. Option returns are crazy. You made 800 on a 2K position side. That's not bad. Also, it deeply depends on strikes and expirations. Mike, is it a broker? Like a platform? Pons, if you try futures, depending on obviously the capital you're willing to risk, prop firms are a good way to do it because it's low risk, at least for a barrier of entry to try it. So I wouldn't be opposed to like looking towards that. But no, I think futures are easier in a sense as long as you're not trying to oversize, because all you're doing is trading price actions. When I trade options, I have to start calculating the Greeks into it. No matter what, you have to do that when you start looking at time overall and deltas with your strike price. So this is just trading simple price action. If I was in an options trade and this happened, I'd be crushed depending on the expiration, which is why I like futures. What up, Jat? How you doing? But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Play close of New York into Asia. I'm working during New York session. Yeah, MD, I feel like a lot of people are that way. The craziest thing is during New York session, I mainly just watch Jake stream and then just go about my day. Towards the end of the day, I'm open to trades, but the morning session, I have no interest in really trading. Unless I love a setup and I'm trying to trade an eval or something. But I usually don't trade fundeds during it. You only swing trade options higher time frame. I'm very similar. Very similar. Polar Bear, I would say it's brutal PA if you're over analyzing the lower time frames. For me, we're just going sideways. I mean, I'm down 13 points. Ain't bad. Is what it is. Yeah, so Pons, it is micros and minis. The cost basis is different because it's margin. So if you have a self-funded account, if you're through a regular broker, the margins are drastically higher. But if you go through something like Tradeovate, it has drastically lower margins. So it's a margin requirement you need to have in your account to be able to enter a certain amount of contracts. For instance, like MES on Tradeovate is $50 per contract or $500 per mini. On an actual broker like Thinkorswim, it's roughly $1,400 for a micro and then $14,000 for a mini. That's why a lot of people use Tradeovate on self-fundeds. But no, the nice part is any trade you enter, you know your exact loss based on the price action. You know your exact potential based on your profit target, which is why I love it. CXT, what did you reply to where you said, why is that? The New York Open. I just don't love how the New York Open's been reacting for the past few months. For me personally, if I'm trading futures, like on ES, the max stop I typically run is like 5 or 10 points, 10, maybe 11, depending on risk. This initial candle is 18. Unless I'm trading the 1 or 2 minute time frame, it's a little tougher for me structurally. So I just wait till price action chills out. That's why I usually wait till like 11:30. Wait till 11:30. Usually you'll find a lot tighter stops in general because you're away from the open and the volatility. And then that's where I like to trade. Dandy, number one thing is you realize you're tilting. So now it's up to you whether you're going to hold yourself accountable or you're just going to let it keep going. So in that point, the number one thing you could either do is take a little bit of a break. And I mean, maybe just a session or a day, or just size down. What a lot of people do is they lose money tilting and they size up trying to make it back. Let's say normally on YM, my contract sizing is 15 lots on micros. If I start trading terrible, my execution's bad, I'll size down. I'll start using 7. I don't care. Because at that point, I just want to get back in my groove, get the overall confidence back and make sure I'm taking proper setups. Because why I size down at that point, you physically cannot care about the P&L, right? If you size low enough, the P&L is not going to change anything for you, but you're focusing on rebuilding the foundation, getting the structure back intact, and then you slowly size back into where you want to trade. That's how I get back into trading normal. Yeah, CJ, it depends on the broker, but yeah, some like Interactive Brokers and TOS uses the overnight margin, where if you're on Tradeovate and you hold throughout the 1 hour market close, you need the full margin requirement. But day trading, they lower it. I think for my next stats review, I'm closing around 12% drawdown. How bad is that for monthly? MD, it depends on how you view charts and where you are in your trading. Because if I remember correctly, you're newer, right? You're going to go through losses. And your biggest thing is just getting better over time. You're going to have rough months while you're learning. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to go through drawdowns when you're learning, trying to tweak strategies, get used to trading overall. 12 sucks. It really does, but you'll survive. And that's the number one thing. And now it's just up to you figuring out what can you do differently to not be down 12, you know? You only use RL account? Is that real life? I don't know what you mean by RL. Doesn't matter how many ups and downs the gain is. Loss, unlike some options, one fast can or smoke. That's fair, Mike. Yeah, options can be tricky with the Greeks, with timing on them. Drippy, that is just going to be drastically personal. What's better to focus on, day trading or starting and growing a business? My number one thing there would be, what do you have more passion behind? No, Pons, I don't watch level 2. If I did, the number one thing I would want to get into would be gamma exposure. I've used bookmap in the past. I don't love it. So it's just like I find value in it, but it's not something I like desperately feel like I need to use. But if I get back into level 2, it'd probably be gamma with Mitch. I'm 22 and still unprofitable. I started trading, or 24 and still unprofitable. I started trading at 24. So you're already ahead of where I was. Marty trades. I love that. I love sizing into trades as they're working well. You've never thought about trading the times I trade? I just love lower volatility. I mean, I don't mind when there's nice volatility and we get big trending moves, but I want the entry to be decent and give me enough potential to get a tighter stop and better risk to reward overall. I just don't find that at the open. Mainly because I trade off the 5 and 15 minutes for the most part. I'm 65 and I'm profitable. You still got time. Vish, are you actually 65? Seriously, about 1 year. MD, I mean, everyone learns different. That's the thing as well. And you, like I said, you're going to have bad months. That's the hardest part about trading, is getting through the bad months. But you also have to remember, and here's a really good thing for people to put it in perspective. Let's say 12R loss is your worst month. July 1st, you made it through it. You're still here. If you're still trading, you got through the hardest part of your entire trading career, right? You'll see drawbacks again in the future, but you'll make it through it. The biggest thing is just, what are you going to do about it is the thing. Because yeah, I've lost a shit ton of money in trading in the beginning. A shit ton. Way more than I was willing to lose. Way more, because I was a degenerate. But it's, what are you going to do to better yourself so that way that doesn't happen again to that extreme? Yeah, MD, then I definitely wouldn't be hard on yourself. If you're currently forward testing, working on refining your strategy, no, I would have no qualms with you being red for a month, because you're trying to figure out all the details of exactly how you want to trade. You're going to lose during that. But the losing aspects are when you learn. You're going to learn what works and what doesn't. So I definitely would not be hard on that. EDS to give us a ripper. I'm in on this 15-minute. Hell yeah, guy out. I would love to pretend I'm 65. Unfortunately, I'm 85. Fish, at that point, I know you're trolling. I know you're trolling. No, Pons, it's different. That comes from sizing. You can trade something. If you like scalping, you can trade scalping. I trade futures where I'm looking for larger moves a lot of times. That's how I trade. You don't have to trade like me. If you watch Jake trade in the morning, you'll see two different trading strategies, because Jake thrives in the volatility. But yeah, it depends on the asset you trade and depends on the size. You can make good money off ES, because just this move here, if you're in 2 ES with this, it's $500. You're in 4, that's 1,000. You can make great money off of it if you like taking little scalps. Yeah, Bish, I knew you weren't old, just by the way you talk. No one might believe you, probably not. Kind of glad I never came into trading with a ton of money over the past 4 years. I've lost around 6,500. Gael, that's great. I mean, it still sucks to lose, but that's easily recoverable. Mine was painful. Fucking, mine put me in the darkest times I've had in life with trading. Yeah, MD, then you're on the right path. It's just going to take time. I'm break even this year. I'm struggling with the risk management side of trading. See, Ivan, here's the thing though. If you're break even and the only thing you struggle with is risk management, once you get your risk in check, the rest is history. It's over. It's over for the market because you're going to just start taking everything it had. But that's where most people, like if most people just had their risk management in check for the most, like for a reasonable amount of time, you could do well. With a 2R trading strategy, you need sub 50% win rate to be profitable. That's not hard to achieve. 10 years into trading, just starting to be profitable. Don't quit, guys. Hell yeah, Marty. Love it. I'm glad you stayed around. Who teach you? Yeah, Jake is my one and only mentor. I've learned different aspects from different people, but he's the person that I've worked like actually one-on-one with. How long did it take you to become profitable? So I took the mastermind 1 year into trading. A few months after that, I basically knew a large majority of what I needed to know about technical analysis, but I struggled with my psychology aspect for about another year, personally. So about two, maybe a little over. See, Gael, there's two situations there. If you lose 25K, it's either you probably would quit or you're so deep in this shit you can't quit. There's one way. Hate this sideways action? Yeah. I'm going to be wrapping up soon. I'm just staying on because you guys are asking questions. MD, I get it. That's just his personality. That's just a personality difference. Might I thank you? Hell yeah, Ivan. Love it. But no, I mean, it's the number one thing. All you have to do is figure out your risk management. And that is simply just locking in and not doing dumb shit wholeheartedly. And I can say that because I still do dumb shit. He's very interesting. Yeah. Jake's very out there as a person. That's his personality. Obviously, part of it too is for stream entertainment purposes because that's just what some people love to watch. Nag, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Can you explain psychology behind trade? Behind this trade? There's no psychology in this trade. For me, it's just I'm willing to take the higher time frame structure I went over earlier. If it stops me out, it stops me out. Trillion is now billions after SpaceX keeps dying. Dude, I feel like the SpaceX craze was similar to like, I don't want to say GameStop, but like the hype behind people buying it was. Like people were fiending into that thing, and you're talking a $1.5 trillion IPO. That is the last thing I'm going to buy. But we've also talked about it on stream. I haven't wanted to buy it at all, and I would want it drastically lower to be interested. Yeah, Vish, I mean, that's harder to answer because it's just a very open-ended concept. Because there's a lot of different psychological aspects that go into trading. But the number one thing is just understanding who you are as a person and a trader. Like if you watch every single session that we have, a lot of us psychologically are different on stream. And some might have a little more oomph in it just because obviously it's stream. They want to be entertaining. But also at the same time, some of us are just watching the charts and just let it ride. And that's just, it shows our inner personalities more. Do not get greedy. Bite Force, are you just talking in general? Or are you talking to somebody? Moving at a snail's pace? Yep. Welcome to the Asia session. MD, there also something a lot of people didn't realize. Yeah, Yang, that's exactly what I've talked about on stream since people asked me about the IPO. I want to see price actually develop, show me where a solid support is, then I'll be interested in it. But I believe there was a clause in some of for a certain percentage of the shares for shareholders. Once it gets over 30% from IPO, they can sell a certain amount. Yes, to conservation, take profit. Yeah, fair. Does that mean a psych ward with my trading psychology? Well, Vish, you're still waiting on your frontal lobe to fully develop, so maybe that's part of it. You still got a year on that. Gael, that's the nutty thing, because when you look at SpaceX, and is it SPCX? When you look at SpaceX, yes. Can it go to $1,000 eventually? Sure. But you're talking at $150, it's $2 trillion market cap. It would, at that point, if it got to $1,000 a share, it would be over double the next highest market cap in the entire stock market, with a lower revenue, with like what, 10% of the revenue of Amazon. If you think that's going to run to 1,000 anytime soon, good luck. And that's coming from someone who doesn't even know much about the financial aspect. Yeah, 1 HP. I saw it was worth more than Meta and Amazon. I think it's still crazy that they're worth $2 trillion. I need a new brain to develop. I'm going to put Elon's chip in stock myself with every loss. Vish. Now I thought about that. I obviously didn't think about getting it because that is insane. But how would Neuralink work? Because I know what the people that have it, if they want to move the mouse, they want to move, like the mouse moves. But what if you're just sitting at a chart and think about entering a trade and it just enters? Like if you tilt and you can't get, like, and you just think about entering more trades, is it just going to keep slapping contracts for you? Like that is what I'm curious about with Neuralink. You've been scalping the shit out of SpaceX, but the orders I see in SpaceX are outrageous. Are you talking about like buy orders? I'm sure you're watching the tape for it if you're talking about that. You're screwed? Dude, that is what I'm wondering. What if it malfunctions, right? Like if you're just sitting near, like, looking at charts at the open, you're like, damn, this could be a good buy entry. And you just immediately buy it. And then you start thinking about adding to it, but you don't actually want to. It just starts adding contracts. NG, failure to go higher and failure to go lower is one of the most simplistic concepts out there. But a lot of people overthink them. Quite literally. Like this 5-minute candle right here. It spiked below the prior candle's low and then got bought back up, which that immediately says sellers aren't strong enough to push it down. And it failed to go below the prior candle. That's it. This one got above, pushed back lower, closed below, failed to get above and hold above the prior candle. That's all it is. It's a potential sign of a reversal, but I use it with multi-time frame analysis on higher time frames to build conviction. Imagine 40 micro just because you thought about it. Gael, every hour would be DGen hours with Neuralink. Imagine Jake with Neuralink when he's in his scalping mode. Trades I take go to shit. Vish, have you thought about taking the trades you think of and not taking the trades you take? That could be step one. One HP, there's probably some firms you can, but also if a lot of firms, if you have automated trading, they don't like it. But you can check their rules to see what firms use. For me though, I've seen a lot of people try trading bots and I haven't seen a single one that actually works. And if it did, I definitely wouldn't be an influencer trying to sell it to the retail trader. I would go right to hedge funds and be like, hey, check this shit out. And then sell it to them for 7 figures. Actually, probably 8 figures. And then I'd retire. MD, similar to you, have never used a single ICT concept, and I do not care to learn ICT concepts. It's not something I'm interested in. How many trades does Jake take a day? Your guess is as good as mine. Sometimes 2, sometimes 20. For instance, when Jake did his Forex flip, because I think he took $15K on a Forex broker to like $200 and something thousand, somewhere around there. When he did that, I'm pretty sure he basically stayed up for 48 hours straight and just scalped. Jake's DJ hour scares me. I can't watch because then I think I can do the same. Yeah, Gael, you just got to think of the difference between basically bankroll there. His risk is a lot more easy to tolerate for him. First 3 months just watching how the market moves. Yeah, hey Miller, I have nothing against ICT concepts. Obviously, if they work for someone, use them. Cool. Not going to argue it. But yeah, I mean, I use basic market structure. I just keep it simple. I heard the first Al Brooks book is dry as fuck. The bar by bar. I read the probably 3/4 of the first chapter of that one. And then I never opened it again. People overcomplicate everything. The reason ICT gets as much shit as it does is because one, the founder or whatever you want to call him is batshit crazy and delusional. But the amount of retail traders, I would assume ICT is probably the number one traded concept because that's all you see over social media. So you're going to see it fail more times than work because the majority of traders fail. Everyone who's basically going to be a shit influencer in a sense is likely going to push ICT, right? There's a lot of people that learn ICT and then immediately start selling a course. And that's just because it's the number one traded retail concept out there. That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, it depends though. Sometimes Jake will take one trade and be done. It just depends on the market. But also, it depends on if he's trading evals too as well. Because he has no problem scalping evals with max lots. Yeah, MD, he's very level-headed with his opinions about trading. And there's a lot of stuff most people agree on with it. I want to be a shit influencer and make easy money. Fish. Start an Instagram, get a following, doing random shit, sell ICT course. Easy. On ES, 735 candle, it broke the previous candle high. So in that case, is a fair to go lower. 735. 735 Eastern. $735 is down here. Yang, are you talking about trading bots? Like the trading bots people try to sell? ICT Avon is herbal life. Very herbal. Yang, if you ever see, and this is the truest piece of advice I could ever give. If you ever see someone push an auto trader or some type of trading bot or algorithm for sale on social media, run as far away as humanly possible and never come back. Because if it truly worked how they wanted it to, one, why wouldn't they just either gatekeep it and make massive multi-millions of dollars or sell it to a hedge fund who would buy something that genuinely worked for probably 8 figures? Because I guarantee you a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund, if you gave them an algorithm that truly worked automated on its own, they would pay out the ass for it. But I've never seen one that actually works. What typically happens is people make one, push it for about a month or two, and then disappear. And you never hear about it again. But I would stay far away from anything like that. Yeah. If something's true, like if you make an algorithm that truly works by itself, I would go towards big institutions, because that is where you will make all of your money. And then you never have to do anything again. You haven't seen one because I'm not done working on mine. Gael, you got that strat coming? Gael, here's one thing though. The second yours is done, I'm just going to immediately report it to the SEC because you're a Michigan fan. And that's the only logical thing to do here. The second I see it hit the market, game over. Yang, most strategies are discretionary. Most are, no matter what way you look at them. That's why people will follow someone who's a phenomenal trader and fail, because a lot of it's also discretionary off your psychology. Jay could teach the exact same way he trades, the exact same way he holds his trades. A massive amount of people can learn that strategy and fail because they're not able to hold trades like him, and they don't try to tweak anything in the strategy. That's where people struggle. My bot is struggling with buy and sell setups. I'm reporting you to the IRS. Do it, Gael. I paid my taxes. I ain't got nothing to hide. Tell them you need a second look at those right off. Hey, let's calm down now. Let's take a deep breath, reel it back like 5 minutes, and let's calm down. What percent of prop firm rev do you keep aside for taxes? Roughly like 30%. Because I trade under prop firms as a business, so I do have write-offs against payouts. So I probably don't even need to keep 30%, but it's like a reward at the end of the year. Set a certain amount aside, a little over than what you need to at the end of the year, pay your taxes or wherever you pay them. Any extra is like, hey, it's a little reward. S-Corp, I think right now it's just an LLC. I need to talk to my accountant, possibly flip it to an S-Corp. That's all above my head. Don't listen to anything I have to say about anything tax related. I know nothing. I give it to my guy and say, hey, this is what happened. This is what I did. And he's like, cool, do this. And I'm like, cool. Gael, I wouldn't risk doing it myself for me personally because I wouldn't do well in prison. Realized that a while ago. Me? No, not a fan of prison. So for me, accountant, I will pay that man whatever the hell he needs to keep me out of it. Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely accountants out there that can help. But for me, just don't listen to anything most traders say about taxes. Listen to an actual certified accountant. Hey, Ron, I can always pass an eval. First try, haven't blown one in like 6 months, but I get funded. I either get a day or two away from payout and blow it. And advice. Voxel. What you're likely dealing with is fully psychological. And what you're focusing on, just from reading that comment, is you're focusing on the payout. You're likely getting close to the point where you're like, oh my God, I might actually be able to get a payout from this. Fully focusing on that, either not trading how you properly should, or trying to force trades to make green days. Because this is where a lot of people blow up funded accounts. And in the end, it's why the prop firm probably has the rule of you need $550 days on a lot of firms. Because on those $150 days, let's say you're on one of those accounts, people will lose $100 trying to make that 150. And then they'll be like, damn, I want to log this day instead of just walking away. They'll try to make 250 to make it back. They'll lose another 200. And then it's just a snowball effect to the downside where they end up blowing the account that day. And I guarantee you that's what a majority of people do when they get close to their payouts that don't get them. See you later, Miguel. I said I was going to hop off soon, like an hour ago, but you guys keep asking questions, so we're chilling. Is that an Iron Flask water bottle? It's a Ray Milo. I don't know. It's an Amazon special. I don't know. Not in prop firms, even though a lot of people cash out with them. Perfect. There's a decent amount of people in here that don't trade prop firms. AXP is one of them that I know of. The psychological aspect of trading is a biotech. Fair. Guile, you just said, let's start our own prop firm, and then you immediately made me an affiliate. No. I want a piece. We're going to call it Wolverine Futures. I'm out. I'm out. That I'm going to be honest, that name is ass. And I'm not even talking about the Michigan aspect of it. I'm just talking about the name. That name is trash. Absolutely horrible. If I saw a prop firm called Wolverine Futures, I'd be like, what the hell is that? And then I probably wouldn't buy it. Give me giveaways. Yeah, Gael, sounds like since you're starting a prop firm, you can give us probably 500 accounts to give away. Appreciate it. Those are going to be exclusive to this stream only. Got my ER account, really small account, building the strat, setting bases for my trading. So after data shows, I'm ready to scale up in phases, money to trade. Love it, MD. You have a beautiful strategy. If you have a prop firm, give away 1,000 accounts daily. Yeah, fuck it, dude. Just rinse 100 bands every single day. I want to be named after a seed. Gael, I like Ohio State. I wouldn't name a prop firm Buckeye Props. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like a good name. Definitely sounds like a scam firm. It does. NG Trades. This one is a prop firm. It's a funded account. Byte Force Futures. Byte Force is open a prop firm. That's the one thing about prop firms too, and why even when I was like my own prop firm affiliate, because I had one before I joined Rake Trades Network, which I canceled all my affiliates. I would only work with certain prop firms because there's so many sketchy ones out there. And Jake's the same way. Because there's prop firms that open every single week in this market, which is kind of crazy. Here's my rules. 1, profit target of 5K, drawdown 2,500, daily payouts with 25% consistency. 50K accounts only that are $150, 80-20 split. Gael, if you're doing that, you might as well throw intraday drawdown in there too, because those might be the shittiest rules I've ever seen. You're going to make a shit ton of money. Might as well go direct to funded. I mean, he's going to start a direct to eval. NG Trades, the best way to grow a 50K funded from my perspective is risking around like $250 for most people, because you can lose like 8 trades in a row ish, and then you would lose the account, and you can trade it less aggressive if you want to. But for me, it's more so the fact it's very, very rare that I will lose 8 trades in a row. So I know I shouldn't blow the account unless I'm being degenerate, which happens sometimes, or I size up. Because you guys will see, like this trade, I think I'm risking 360, which is a little more aggressive, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I would usually look for, if you think about it, 2R on a $250 risk. You're looking for about 500 per trade. 6 winning trades in a row, you pass. Worst case, you lose a couple, so like 8 trades. I'm surprised someone hasn't started a prop firm for sports betting. 1 HP, that already exists. That's already a thing. There's prop firms for everything. There's, guarantee you, especially because I think Tradeify hinted at it, there's going to be prediction market prop firms within the near future. Wholeheartedly agree with that it's going to happen. Now, fuck that. End of day. Oh, so you're strict on every other rule but the end of day drawdown? I like flex. 50% takeout profit. Marty trades. You mix two accounts. You're either thinking of Lucid Flex or Tradeify Select. I'm not sure which one you're talking about there. But yeah. I get those both trade the exact same. The only difference I've seen between them is the consistency on the eval is 10% different. Do these rules. Zero consistency on eval are funded. 100% profit split. $1,000 profit target. $2,000 drawdown. I guarantee I will still lose it. Vish. Also, no one told me that my sign wasn't on. Shit. Vish. Diabolical. But, you know, maybe eventually. If you start that firm, I'm in. Yep, 250 is my side. Need to look at YM and RTY because ES has been hella volatile. You just need the size a little bit lower with ES. Like if you use 5 micros on ES, you'll be fine. 5 micros, you can risk 10 points and that's 250 on a max risk. You've been betting college basketball for 15 years, never seen one. Learn something new every day. It's newer. I mean, we're going to continue to see different types of prop firms come out on everything they can because it's a exploding market. I would be shocked if, I guarantee you this market hasn't even really exploded yet. There's a bunch of prop firms out there, but I guarantee you this market has not even remotely exploded yet. Especially when you look at the aspects of sports betting and also prediction markets. NG, so you're talking about NQ. You said 830. I'm looking at the YM. I'm dumb. Hang on. 8:30 what? 8:30 a.m. Eastern? No, because we weren't at 3,000. I'm going to guess you're CST and you're talking about this. CST. Yeah, I mean, that's the NQ volatility. NQ is going to do this. This is just how NQ trades. This is NQ. You get massive pushes up, especially near market open and during more violent moves. That is just what NQ does at times. And it's just something you got to be willing to trade. That's why Jake also doesn't move his stops and uses wider stops on NQ. Same with Lamelli. Even ES did that today. So, I mean, it's just the overall market being volatile. We're still probably going to get some for the single individual futures. Yeah, Gael, that would probably just be an adaptation that current prop firms put on. Which I feel like they'll make a shitload of money off those because volume on those is probably going to be lower. Turn 0-day options into a prop firm. Do that even exist? Yeah, MD, there is a options prop firm as well. I will not ever work with an options prop firm just because I don't agree with it with options. Because I can't imagine having a consistency rule on options. It sounds delusional. I wouldn't buy anything with my name on it, let alone others. Vish, way to have the self-confidence today, my guy. Anyways, chat, unless someone has some closing remarks or a last minute question, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Too volatile? No, MD. For me, the reason I don't, and Jake agrees with this fully, we both talked about it. I like options because there's an exponential return on your position based off of the Greeks. When I take an options trade, I'm playing the aspect of the extrinsic value turning into intrinsic, which is going to inflate the gamma and the delta. You kind of cap it out on options when you're looking at a prop firm that, let's say, has 30% consistency. Because now you're just limiting a lot of the positions, which, cool if you like to do that. But options are the one thing that if it's going to run, I want to let it run. Yes, I have a closing remark. I don't think we want to hear it, Gael, but let's hear it. Let's hear it. Also, I never ended the poll. The poll flipped bullish. Damn. At one point, it was 30% bullish. Gael, I have one last question for you. Do you want timed out for 24 hours or 7 days? Which one would you prefer? Off those closing remarks. This wish is way too slow. I'm still bearish. I mean, right now I'm more neutral than anything, but I'm not going to get out of this position. I'm just going to let it do its thing. 24 hours, 700 days. Chat wants Gael gone. It's crazy. Chat's on your side until I mention something. They all turn on you. Anyways, chat, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. Alan's obviously on 1 a.m. Eastern. Ban that motherfucker. Agreed. Just because he's a Michigan fan, dude. They deserve it. But you almost can't ban him because you just feel bad for him at some point, you know? But I'll be on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Alan's on 1 a.m. And we run the schedule back again. So I'll get back to Killa, the giveaway winner. But other than that, y'all have a good rest of your night, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.